saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them said spice on him. Evil politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm you. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for fool? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle but of the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them a the one way crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Evil politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not ties on him. Them know say that the people rely upon him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. The man hold the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm you. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day.
Yes, my people. Blessings. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Home Reason with Rattigan, place where you get to drive the narrative. And there you go, my people. Let me see now. Tonight we have a very, very special guest with us. Very, 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 very special guest. You hear about VIP and you hear about VIP. Well, our special guest is VV. I guess it's triple VIP. I want to say that. And she's here already. But before we bring her on, let me just quickly big up the people who are responsible for this thing here. Because without you, you know, we are nothing. Dorrit, big up yourself. Big up yourself. You're right at the front of the class. Stay so. Yes. Keep it going, OT. Elaine Turner, bless up, Elaine. Thank you for all that you do. ACLB, blessings. I'll convey your regards to Kevin. Miss B, big up yourself. Beverly, enough respect. Thanks for joining us. Patel, blame OT. Thank you for joining us. Big up yourself, Patel. We'll talk soon, sir. Laura, it's Wednesday, and of course, it's time for class. Yes, indeed. Hey, my brethren, Labs Coachy. Welcome. Big up yourself. Jeffrey Warrell, Thank you for joining us, as usual. A pleasure. G. Angel, greetings, greetings, greetings. Barbara Giwa, bless up, bless up, bless up. Merle, my girl. What you say now? Your wings are not broken, Mr. Rattigan, so you shall rise unstoppable. At that, me say. Thank you, Merle. Ubuntu, greetings. Oh, Reggae Global, my family. Yes, 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 yes. The whole way there. All right. That's it, OT. Oh, LW2. Greetings, 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 greetings. That's it. We stuck. Let's see OT at all. Hold on a second there. Opal, my big friend, Mahoney. Big up yourself, my friend. Stay so. All right. So I'm here alone. That's it. Okay. All right. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we have an artist with us tonight. And normally, you know, we have a program called Easy as Sun, Easy Like Sunday with the Rebel. And we haven't done anything with that program for quite some time. And normally we would do this on a Sunday, but no. This artist has graciously given us her time, and her time is now. So we just have to take it when we can get it. So we're gonna bring her on, and then have some words with her, you know, a nice chat, and people in the chat, feel free to jump on and share the platform with us. I'll wait for her for come on. Dorot's a very important person. Yeah. Who else there with me? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, an artist that I've been longing to meet. I heard she was in South Africa, but I think she went there right after I left. But we'll find out more about that. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, international reggae artist. She'll blaze fire. And she'll blaze some more fire upon Reggae Global Radio this week. Can't wait. Without further ado, I present to you the one, the only, Ciara Etana. Good evening, ma'am.
Greetings.
How are you?
I am well. Thanks for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. I spoke to you a while back. It was about something different. And I told Donna Maria, I told her that I was just longing to meet you. I never thought that we would meet like this. But you know what? Any meeting I can get with you, I'll take it. And
that's great. Thank you.
They're excited. They just want to hear from you what's up with you. In fact, somebody sent me something saying that you have a concert, I think next week or something like that. I can't remember the person, but they said that you're gonna be in his neck of the woods for a concert soon. I don't know if you have anything planned.
Oh, it's a few things, but there's the Independence performance in Washington or between Washington and Maryland. And then there's something in North Carolina, I believe, happening at the end of this month.
I think he's referring to, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's referring to the DMV, the DC, Virginia, Maryland area.
The Jamaica Embassy. I mean, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's what he's from. Yeah. All right, welcome. I tell you what, for those of you in the audience who haven't heard the name Etana and you don't know who this lady is, and shame on you, I suspect most of you, if not all of you, know her, but I'm still going to ask her to kind of like introduce herself, and then we'll go from there. Just tell us, who is Etana, where you're from, and how long you've been doing this, and, you know, the whole works.
All right, so my name is Etana, and I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. I am a reggae artist. My first single came out in 2006. First album 2008. So it gives you kind of an idea mm, of how long I've been in reggae. So the first album was 2008, and I recently released um, an album that was like a marijuana tribute. Um, and there is much more to come. There's
Mhm,
also the
mhm,
dub album called Dub Cloud and couple nominations and some number ones and bag of things, you know. Um, but more than anything, my fans are all over the world. I have been to so many places. I think it's better to ask me where I haven't been.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, that's a snippet of who I am.
All right, let me ask you a question. How did you get involved in the music business?
Well, I was here in Florida. I was in Florida for a while since I was like nine. Went to high school, middle school. I went to college, and as a office manager, I was just tired of
Mhm,
going to work and doing the same thing every day, you know, in the traffic. And I expressed my feelings to my friend and him say, you know, there's a guy looking for a black girl to join a four-girl group, you know. I
mhm,
think you'd be a perfect fit because you can sing. And we did the interview. He did the introduction, and then I did a audition on the same day, and I got into the group, and that was my first experience as an artist, um, or upcoming artist, because we went through a lot of grooming and choreography and, you know, image and the whole works. It was like the making of the band, you know. But I think it really happened for me when I got to Jamaica and decided I wasn't going to do music anymore. I was done, completely done, because I wanted to express myself as I felt within. And I felt like talent is within and not outside. So I don't need to show so much just to sing. And I felt like if I had to do that, then I might as well just open up an internet cafe. It just wasn't my thing, you know?
mhm,
And that's when I met the manager of Richie Spice with at Fifth Element. And even though it was, you know, after a rough start with my ex at the time when I met them, it Fifth Element became my home over time. And they kept asking me to write a song. And I wrote a song eventually called The Wrong Address. And that was it.
mm. You know, normally, you know, well, it's not, well, quite often you hear people say, well, yeah, you know, I used to sing in the church. You know, I used to, you know, the early background had something to do with singing. But with you, you said, you know, you just get tired of the traffic and you wanted to express yourself, tired of everything.
Yeah, basically, you know, I just felt like there was more for me somewhere, you know. Back then too, I was also spiritually growing, right? Like back then, I was very much into my Bible. I did a lot of research. Um, Obviously, I was in college. I did a whole lot of research about a lot of things that we're still dealing with today as
Mhm,
humans in a society where things they in our food and our water. And
mhm,
I wouldn't eat certain things. I wouldn't even. It was hard for me to even use the pipe without, you know, having, you know, stuff done so I can use more natural water. And as soon as Milana, Jamaica, the river was my source, you know, and my Bible was everything. Like I would read the Bible from back to front all the time, and pray. I was deeply searching, you know, at that time and learning at the same time.
mhm. You know, let me talk to you about two songs. You did two songs, well, you did many songs, but two of them that really, really spoke to me
Yeah.
were I'm Not Afraid and Wrong Address. Actually, Wrong Address
Hmm.
was the first one because that
Yeah.
is so true. That is so true.
Hmm.
Did you write it? And if you didn't, what inspired you to sing it?
I wrote that song in my apartment in Florida when I came to do our show. Well, we came up to do our show with Richie Spice, and instead of me going to the hotel, I drove to my apartment because I was just longing to see my place, even though I had nothing in there but my furniture, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and I was watching this documentary called Life and Death in Jamaica. And my aunt called me right in the middle of the documentary, saying, no, me never get the job. Them say me have the wrong address next time if you use an uptown address, but me not have no uptown address for use,
Wow.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I know how, I know she really needed that job, you know? And I also know that she's a great person, you know, a good character. And trust me, the tears fell. I
Mm-hmm.
started to write, and the lyrics came with the melody. I was done writing the song in maybe 10 minutes. And I knew when I landed in Jamaica that I was going to have to record this song somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. So when I got to the studio, I called the guitarist and I said, come play to that song here for me. And I said, just play anything, man, just play it to the song. I sing the melody and you just play. And I called the engineer and they recorded the song
Mm-hmm.
on that day. And what was played by Ron Machette on the radio on that Sunday morning, I don't know, it was Monday morning. Monday morning, as soon as he got on air, he played it 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock. And it was raw, like unmixed, unmastered, just the raw vocal, everything raw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it didn't fit in. Felt like it was too acoustic. It never really was a reggae song, you know. And I said, see there, it not even fitting on the radio. And I walked back in, you know, and to my surprise, in like 6 months, I knew that song broke when I was performing in somewhere in Kingston and hear the salute from up in the hills. I knew then that the song broke.
Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. Any vocal training, or you just a natural singer?
Mm.
Did you take any like voice training or?
Well, when I was in middle school, I had chorus class, right? Um, and I remember I heard about this lady who taught vocal lessons at um, Ely High School. Um, no, Dillard High School. And I walked over to the lady and I said, I walked into the classroom and I asked everybody, where's the chorus teacher? And I walked into the class and I said to her, would you teach me how to sing? And this lady looked for me like, you know, obviously it doesn't work like that. But in my mind, I could have just asked. And she was so surprised to see me walk up to her like that. She said, you know what? Lay down on the floor. She just started to show me techniques, you know, different things. And she said, okay, after this lesson, back with your parents. And I charge whatever, whatever, you know. But my
Mm-hmm.
mom at the time was a single mother. She was always working. She was a nurse. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't have money for that stuff. So that was it. That was my training entirely.
Wow, wow. Talk to me about this. My second song now. I'm not afraid. I listen to that constantly. Constantly. Was there something that?
Well,
Go ahead.
I had a nappy here at the time, half locks in the back. Um, Preferred at the time to wear skirts. I was very, very militant. And a lot of people didn't like that. They didn't like that I was always covered, you know? They didn't like that I didn't show any cleavage or any skin. And they used to talk a lot of things. You can't comb your hair, you know? I remember one time a lady stopped me on the plane. Come here. You know me like a song? I really like a song. Ask you a question. Where your mother there? I said, my, what? And she said, where your mother there? I want to ask you, she can't tell if you come here, you know? But and my Jamaican people and that, I saw them stay. So I just kind of laughed it off, you know? But I wanted people to know at that time that I was not afraid of who I am.
Right.
And it was definitely my choice to wear the clothes that I wear, to not show so much skin, to, you know, to just be.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I remember hearing on the news how they were talking about women who would go to work and have to sometimes work extra in a non-professional way just to get paid, you know, whether it is to accept the advances or, you know, do other things. And then they were talking about construction workers too, who would go to work and have to argue with the boss long after the payday to get paid. So that's why I say prostituting and standing in a them government line.
I think she I think she got a phone call. So she stay tuned, folks. She will rejoin us. We're talking to Etana, and she she's touring the United States, and she also has she's gonna become a fixture on Reggae Global Radio, starting this. I think it's this Friday. But
Okay.
we'll. Oh,
Sorry
here
about
she is.
that.
No, no worries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just wasn't afraid of being who I was at the time, or who I am. And I remember um one of my representatives at the time was saying, yo, I'm gonna just buy some gold chain gear, and I'm gonna drop you in some skirts and some thing, you know. And but the skirt them African so long. Yeah, wear it too long, you know. You need to dry it up some more, like give me some shorter skirt or something, because that image I'm gonna know about it. You know, so those were the things that I was going through. Like people had it in their mind what I should look like and what the industry accepts. And in my mind, I just wanted to be simple. Because if I wanted to be naked, I would have
Right.
stayed in the pop group where the money is at, where the labels are, you know? Yeah, so.
When you started out, did you set goals for yourself? Did you say, by year 2, this is where I want to be, year 4, year 5, want to have a Grammy, want to do this, want to do that? What goals did you set, if any, for yourself? Or you just said, I just want to sing?
Everything was happening so fast as it started. You know, like once the song broke, like there was show after show after show after show. And I was also learning at the time to, well, a little bit after Wrong Address broke, and we did Roots, then my managers at the time, um, like fifth element basically was broken apart with incarcerations and whatever things, so the
Mhm.
company basically partially dissolved, and I had to go on the street, promote the song then by myself, because my whole idea was to
Wow.
bring the music to the people, because I didn't have the funds to um do the promotion on a major scale. So I had to find a way to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did that for a while. And then I decided to go and work with Sharon Burke. And not just off my own either. I was told by Subby at the time, when he was in prison, said, listen, you need to go and work with Sharon Burke, because she's a female and I believe that I can trust her. Some of the things that you worry about in the music industry, then you won't have to worry about with her, because she's a woman. But I couldn't help but to think how when Sharon met me the first time, she had said, where you go with she after she can't sing? So me, I said to myself, you know, but I went.
Mhm,
Um, and she was very supportive, very caring, very strong at the time in just the right places where I needed that support and that manager, that system around me. Um, she provided that.
mhm.
It was very much needed, you know. So I think it was a good move at the time. We had our differences, but in every relationship, people have differences, you know.
Yeah.
And um and I think that some of the decisions that I made along the way, even though I never had like a plan for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years,
Mhm,
I'm
mhm,
thinking some of the decisions that I made in that early part, um, I think that now when I look back at it, I would say one or two of them I would have taken from Sharon. Now, if I could turn it back, I would have taken that advice, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
But I learned so much along the way, and yeah, you know, everything happens fast, and it happened for a long time, very fast. It just keeps rolling, and it never stops, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, there's a time when every time I watch a stage show, you were on it. You know,
Yeah,
uh, yeah.
it was a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
No, from where you are, give me a projection. Where do you want to take Etana to? Because I know I just see big things in your future, but I just want to know. Oh no, no, sorry, my mistake. I see bigger things in your future, and I just
Okay.
want to. Where do you see it? Where do you see it happening?
You know, I one of the things that I've learned over time in this music, you see, that even if you see something great, it's better not to say it until you see
Ah,
it.
mm-hmm,
You know, it's better not to put it out there because there are people who are happy for you and people who
mm-hmm.
are celebrating with you, but there are some people that are very angry with every move that you make. They just believe that you're not supposed to make it without them. Where did you get that effect?
Thank Kevin. Thank Kevin for it.
Big up yourself, Kevin.
No, that is so true. That
Yeah.
is
You have some
abs.
people who just very angry and bitter, you know? And because you're not running behind them, because you're not begging them, because I'm not laying myself careless with them, and everybody in the industry and the world knows what that means, they get angry because they don't have that control that they believe they should have as the so-called gatekeepers they say they are.
Well, I mean, how much control do you allow others to have with your career? I mean, do you take a very, very active and decisive? Do you play an active and decisive role in it, or do you kind of like say, you know what, I have a producer, I have a manager, and I'll just sit back and then they'll just tell me, this is where you're supposed to be tomorrow night. That's where you're supposed to be the night after.
Well, as it relates to that part of it, you know, this is where you're supposed to be, your scheduling, your bookings. I don't get involved in that because I don't have time for that. Like in my mind, I'm more on the creative side. And that's where I am most in control, you know, as far as
Mhm.
creating the music, knowing that, hey, I don't write certain lyrics or I don't sing it if, say, the lyrics is brought to me and it's not in alignment with my beliefs or ideas. But
Uh-huh.
just not do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm in control there in the studio. That's where I'm most in control. But when it comes to booking and them things, I don't get involved. It's too much for me. Unless
All
it's
right.
something I really don't want to do, like something that don't make sense.
Okay.
I would just say I'm not interested. Just simply say no and we move along.
Uh, Carol Campbell in the chat. She says, "I'm in love with reggae, the song. What made you do that song so sexy? And yet, reggae music." They said, "Did you write the song?" And said, "It's a very beautiful song."
Well, guess what? Number one, I'm female, right? So I think that when it comes to that part, the sensuality, it natural, ka, may woman. But I really do love reggae. You know, I really am in love with reggae music. And so when I heard Jesse Adelman, um, we did a song long before we did reggae. But when I heard him, I said, you know what? I think we're going to have a writing relationship together. And we write, wrote songs, maybe two or three songs already. And he's on three different projects with
Mm-hmm.
me. Jesse Adelman is from New York, and he's a writer, guitarist, and artist too. And so I wrote that song with Jesse Adelman. He keeps saying, it's not Adelman, say Adelman. Don't say Adelman.
How do
But
you
tell him, say
choose?
me a Jamaican. Jesse Adelman.
Yes, indeed. How do you choose um, the people who work with you, like writers, for example, and musicians? Do you have like pet peeves, like you say, you have to be like this or you have to do like that? Otherwise, you just don't take anybody.
No, I don't. I am,
Mm.
because music, you have to take music serious as a musician or a writer. You have to be very talented to be in the same room with me. And I say so without apology. And yes, in rehearsal studios, I have asked musicians to leave,
Wow.
or I have, asked a whole room of musicians to leave and requested that a whole new band be flown in just for that show. Um,
Oh, you're a star, you know. I saw you're a star when you can't do that. I mean, can't do
no,
that.
because listen, I'm
Mhm.
sure if you hired someone now, yes, to do a job and they say, yes, we can do the job. And when they walk in the room, they're trying to read a book to figure out how to do the job. You're not going to
Okay.
keep them in the room.
Cool.
So,
Mhm.
like, if a band, I remember back then they were saying, "Oh, yeah, you just a come up and whatever, and we want you to work with the band we have." And I said to my team, I said, as long as they're capable of playing the music, and them say, "Yeah, man, everything good, man. We are rehearsed and everything." And then when we reach in the UK now, they were pressing play to the song, and the show was the next day.
Wow.
So I told him, I said, listen, I'm just not gonna perform. So if you're not willing to fly the band from wherever they are, then you can just take me off the show.
Wow. Hmm.
So them did have to fly the band from one other place, come over, which they should have just done in the beginning. But
Hmm.
when it comes to reggae music, sometimes in they feel like as a female, you don't need to carry a band, cause you're a woman. You just work with one of the man them band. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I like it when people love music to the point where they understand that if you go up on the stage and you're playing um wrong notes, or you don't know the song where you play, and you're gonna look stupid, and they feel a way about that. So they want to show up professionally and play as strong as they can and put on a good show, because they understand that the crowd, the audience, is not just looking at the artist. The audience is looking at everybody on stage.
Hmm.
Everyone on stage, the bass player, the guitarist, the drummer, all of them have a fan that's looking at them on that stage on that night. And I just don't want to be on the stage amongst people who, play in Sunday school and feel like they're professional musicians.
Etana, I'm going to bring on one of my favorite sisters on now. Name is Maria
Mm.
Sierra. Sis, Wagwan.
Hi, I'm good.
Hi.
I'm good. I was listening. Listen, full disclosure.
Okay.
I honestly have never listened to your music until now.
Oh, thank you.
And I
Thank
have
you.
to say, great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job. You are talented, and the way you embrace the music. I was just listening to your song Reggae, and I'm like, is that song about reggae music or somebody? You know that, yeah,
It
and
was
that
purposely done that way.
yeah,
Purposely
yeah,
done that
yeah.
way.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it takes a person with a depth of talent to do it that way. To sing in such a way, sensual but understanding, and the nuances of the song. I mean, I have to say kudos to you. God
Thank you.
bless. And I'm just going to listen and learn, my
You like
dear.
poetry? Do you enjoy poetry?
Yes, I do.
Maybe that's why you
Yes,
like reggae.
yes.
Yeah.
And on a whole, I like reading, because
Okay.
reading expands your mind. As a matter of fact, today I just picked up the book White Oleander that was
Yeah.
made into a movie a few years ago, and I'm just going to read that book. So I like
Okay.
words. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah, because it
well, that's
expands
why.
your knowledge. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check out
Yeah.
that book as well.
Yes, yes. It's a great book to read. Yeah.
All
But
right.
thanks. Greetings, Rattigan, and to everybody in the chat. I forgot my man is.
Big up
No,
everybody watching
no. It's on the
Yes, yes, because they are the people who keep us on our toes. Yeah. So
indeed.
it's
all the
good to
time.
have you. And I'm just listening. I love your background.
Thank you. This was a painting done by Limey Limey Love in Colorado,
Okay.
and he presented it to me on stage.
Wow.
Oh, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. But as I'm talking to you, I have two questions for you. Um, how do you see authentic reggae music now? Where
Mm-hmm.
do you see it heading?
Yeah.
And if you could change anything about reggae, because when we talk about reggae, we think about the Marleys, we think about Bob Marley, we think about Tosh, the Wailers, we think about Burning Spear, because we think about the authenticity of the music and the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics of the music. There's a reason that Bob Marley, being dead so long, is still relevant today
Yeah.
because the lyrics are what matters. There are people who have come up and people follow beats, and nothing is wrong with that if they want to have a party beat. But when you think about reggae, you think about storytelling of people, a social commentary done to music. So where do you see the music right now, and where do you see it heading? And if there's anything you would adjust, what would it be and why?
Well, as I mentioned, Bob Marley once said that the music will always go to its rightful place and its rightful people. I never let go of
Mhm.
that because I've seen it with my own two eyes. When I released, when the album I Rise was released, I should say, um, Love Song was not a popular song in Jamaica at all, right? And one day we received a call from China, that a streaming platform in Kenya um, had Ed Sheeran at second and Love Song at one in the
Mm,
entire country.
Hmm.
And we were surprised because nowhere on this side were, I mean, people play Love Song, but it wasn't that big. And I also went to Brazil, and I remember when it was my day to perform, I said to the guy who brought me over there, I said, so who is performing after me or before me? And he said, I said, what is the running order like? And he said, Etana, it's your night. You are the
mm,
queen of the night. When I walked
mm.
on the stage, there was 30,000 people.
Oh,
In no, I mean,
Awesome.
I'm not exaggerating. 30,000 people or more in a block is the whole street that they blocked off. And when Love Song came on, they were all dancing like this and singing.
Mm.
And in Brazil, let me tell you, if some of them, if you don't speak to them in their own language, they kind of flick you off like, what are you saying? This is Brazil. You speak our language. Um, and let me tell you, everywhere I go across the world, people show up for reggae music. I wouldn't change anything about the music. What I would
Mhm.
change is the people in control of broadcasting in Jamaica, or
Mm.
the people who pull the strings,
Right.
because uh, they have made some progress in, you know, the music that can be eared. However,
Mm.
I feel like the songs that actually inspire people, and point them or their hearts in a positive direction, I believe that those songs are being tucked to the side, and that the more negative songs, or the songs that may negatively influence people, especially young children, is being more promoted. And I asked one of our
Mhm.
leaders in Jamaica, why is that? And the person said to me, listen, you know, I like what I do, and certain politics I rather not deal with.
Mm.
I want to
Mhm.
deal with the things that I can control without extra problems. Yeah.
Right.
So there is, there's layers to it. We could
Mhm.
always want, but it would probably take a real revolutionary, a real
Mm.
rebel, you know,
Mhm.
fearless enough to not, worry about the possible consequences. Yeah.
Mhm.
But all in all, I must say that there are positive, there are great creators out there now, still creating the music, and AI, and what you
Yeah.
call it now, social media and all of these make it easier, for those
Mhm.
artists to, for people to listen to the music they create without
Yeah,
some of the
Mhm.
politics.
Right. Right.
the people around here them can read me well, you know. We're like somewhere around the news. As the shaman say, Rattigan mesmerized. And I tell you what, the questions them are coming like
Yeah.
wow. I mean,
But before you move on, Rattigan, may I ask you two more things before I thing here? They say that uh success is preparation meeting opportunity. What was your process like in preparation for this moment? Because it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. There
Oh
has to be a
man.
process. And how was that for you? And how to meet this moment that
Whew.
you're in right? Because it's a God moment. It has to be a God divine connection. You walking in your purpose, being your authentic self, for you to be in this moment right now. So what was
What
that
a
process
question.
for you? Yeah.
You know, the process was a lot of learning and dealing with people who call themselves industry players, who were also learning themselves, which
Mm,
made some of the journey um, unnecessarily, uh, I wouldn't say difficult. I was a little bit of difficulty and pain at the same time, a lot of struggle. Um,
mm,
because, you know, the people who you would think already should know certain things and be experienced enough to deal with certain things, they were the ones making some of the biggest mistakes, you know? Um, like even having a call from Puma in my very, beginning, and saying, hey, we need Etana to do this branding. Can you show up in New York? And there was no conversation after that. It just went dead, flat, no answer,
mhm,
you know, or um, the response coming way too late, months later, for major opportunities. And so, you would think as the artist, oh my God, there's just like, yes, I'm pushing, yes, I'm doing shows, but what I really want to do isn't being done. Why isn't this being done? And then you find
mhm.
out that some of these opportunities did present themselves, but people
Oh.
chose not to take it because of control
Mm,
and where they believe you should be. And these are the people
mhm,
you're looking to at the same time. So, and then
mhm,
maneuvering through all the mess and and all the political stuff in between. Yes, you learn a lot on the way, but again, the process includes all of that. So you just can
Mhm.
imagine from the little bit that I just said, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the part of the fun process is when I realize, hey, you can create the album all by yourself. That never just come out of thin air. Of course, I had to
Mhm.
go through a whole depression phase and
Mhm.
trying to pull myself out of an agreement with a label and getting to the point where I realized, all right, I can create the album by myself. I can do this. I can promote the music on my own. Like I can get a Grammy nomination. I can do all of this
Mhm.
independently and without all of the people, so-called gatekeepers, and all the people who are coming with the extra and unnecessary baggage. And I just dropped everyone,
Mhm.
and just focus on where I wanted to be. And yeah, here we are.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. You have another question, right?
No, I'll leave for later. I'll listen. I'll just listen to her.
Yeah. No.
Mm.
Let me. I don't know where to start now. I have a couple questions here. One is, this is my question. I won't ask you who are your favorite artists, because whenever I ask people that, it kind of put them in an awkward position.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
Me
won't-
not afraid to tell you. Me will tell you. Just ask
Now
so we
listen,
ask.
well, I'm not ask, but me I listen.
Now that's a good one.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? I'm a lover of music, right? So my playlist is wide. Like I have like from the Whitney Houston, from the Stevie Wonder, to Bob Marley, to Pink, you know, or um Suburb Barris, Marcia Griffiths, Taurus Riley, Morgan Heritage, Live Wire Band. You know, the list is long because I love a good production and I love a good song.
Tell me about somebody who's not on that list that very few people know about, but that you say, hey, I love this person's voice and I think this person is going someplace.
Well, I love songs well, not on my reggae list, but I say Fever. I like that song.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I like um Busy Signal. Not on the
mm-hmm.
reggae
Mhm.
list, but him have a reggae catalog. But I like Busy Signal. Um, and I would say like Little Wayne or Kanye.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it's white. Like
Right,
I,
right,
I
right.
like yeah.
Let me ask you this question. It says, where do you think reggae music stands today compared with when you first entered the industry?
Hey,
Mhm.
when I first entered, there was like there's a whole barrage of righteous youth man out there, and
Mhm.
they ain't giving up. No way. Or like Jack Cure songs. Longing for my baby to love me more. What am
Mhm.
I longing for? Like reggae was so strong. It was everywhere. The music was positive. You wanted to be down by the river, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and where it is now, like I said on the radio, when me landing in Jamaica, me hear mostly either hip hop music on Zip or one heap of different kind of trap, dancehall, and less of reggae music. I believe there's only one station that plays straight reggae, maybe two.
No, I'm laughing.
Truly.
No, I'm laughing. Um, Outer Road, my song was a Jamaica mashup. And somebody put that chat, like my song was a
Listen, let me tell you something. Me landed in Jamaica the other day. I'm a feel, you see, when I reach home, I kept thinking over and over, I'm scarred. Like, I'm traumatized. because I heard a song on the and listen, I'm not homophobic in any way, but I'm talking about like based from the angle of Jamaican culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? And um me hear a song where one girl that sing directly broad brawling about tongue kissing another girl. You know what I say? I may say to myself, say, wait a minute. All right. So, but it was more than that. It was more. I'm just saying it because we're here right now. I may say, but that play up on the radio? A real live radio? No. So I said to him, say, well, on there, our CD I play, right? And I said, no, I radio. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Out of my wits. I'm gonna say, okay, all right. So we're more open. That's cool. But how far the openness I got because me hear way more than I need to hear at this moment. Like me remember even back in the days, right? When I mean that I one from long time in a dance hall and let's be honest. But I never heard it in like a song that was supposed to. It comes off like a reggae song, comes off like a pop song, like pop reggae, but then it have dancehall content in it. So it kind of mix up. And I said to myself, said back in the days, like, I not say back in the days, because back in my days different from older people back in the days, right? But when I was young, girl, like child, me never hear my parents talk about. Me not even hear them. Like I don't hear them getting involved in anything like that, and they don't have certain kind of conversation around children, right? But now in Jamaica, it's totally different. Everybody is open. Everything is in the open, and it kind of made me ask, do you know, like where are we going with all of this? Like, are we getting to the point where it's gonna be okay for babies to get involved with each other and then we just accept it? Where are we going with it?
Right. I fully understand. Let me ask you this question before I bring in sis. And this is the producer is asking this question. She said, well, we know you're a strong woman. It's evident, it's obvious. But reggae is a strong male-dominated presence. As a female artist. Oh, producer. Just the hell with you. You know why you read? You put it up on the screen. As a female artist, how did you navigate this, especially when you began?
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna credit Fifth Element for that. Because I remember after them locked me down for at least a year, because to him, I was very naive. I thought that Rasta was supposed to be heavenly, is and where we are, where we reside, supposed to be heavenly, right? Like I could have put on my bag with 30,000, 40,000 and just drop my bag and walk away, and I should come back and everything should be in there. When they realized that I was like that, they said, you know what? We're gonna lock you down for a year. You can't go nowhere unless you have at least 20, 30 man that walk behind you. Even if you go to the store, you need to have at least 5 or 10 people behind you. So they don't give other people access to me like that because he felt like like I had a lot to learn. And I think that's how he kind of built that respect that a woman would need in reggae music so that, you know, the the usual would be different as it relates to me. And I think that's how they changed it. Even when I was walking up on the stage with my guitar, them used to have this big muscular trainer take the guitar and walk it up on the stage and give it to me. And when I was done, he would come back and get it. And when we finished performing, he would take me off the stage. So he said, Mommy, I go teach. Him said, I go teach Jamaica and the world how to deal with a woman in reggae. That's what he said.
Right. Sis?
Yeah, I'm listening to her, and I think about the women who came before you,
Yeah.
and especially the female conscious reggae artists.
Yeah.
what they faced. You know, you're thinking about the I3s. You talk about, you
Yeah.
think about Dawn Penn. You know, I'm going all the
Yes.
way back. J.C. Lodge, Pam Hall, and those persons, Carlene
Yes.
Davis.
The greats.
And yes, the great. And if
Yeah.
you in this era faced so many challenges
Hey,
to get to
what
where
did
you
they
are,
face?
can you only imagine what they went through? So it leads me to my question: who were your female mentors?
So, more than mentors, like after listening to some of their stories, you see,
Mm-hmm.
I was so moved that I kept them with me. Like stories Lady Saw told me,
Mm.
Lady G told me, um, other artists too, you know. Um, I remember as a mentor, Marcia Griffiths. I remember
Yeah,
one time
thought
she said
about
me
that.
and I was well barefoot, nappy head, look raga in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcia come and said, come here, come here. So I said, what's going on? And she said, my daughter, you know some love you. I'ma say yes. She said, you ever see none of them Rasta man yeah? They with no barefoot, raga looking woman, like how you look
Mm.
now. You ever see them? And she said, show me one. Wherever there with a woman, will look raga. She said, me tell you this. Don't have them believe, make you believe. Say if I walk around like that, you will see them
Oh.
Yeah, I think she got a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whenever she gets a phone call, it kind of kick her out. Just soon come back. Yeah, people were
Yeah.
listening to Anna. Very insightful, very light moments, because we usually jump in deep in the, in the politics, but tonight we just keep it light. And
Mm-hmm.
I miss where I had to laugh when when Doris said, "If you don't like my son," it's a Jamaica man.
Exactly. But I love this refreshing break from the heavy
Yeah,
issues that are we really need this come down sometimes
yeah,
for the sake of our own sanity, because if we follow it, the whole of it go mad,
true.
Sure, because we not only in our personal spaces, there are issues that are happening that we have to also navigate. But then on the platform where you have to absorb information for the purpose of disseminating that to educate, edify, and inform, you're consumed with it all. And so if you don't have these moments of levity, we're mad narrated, man, we're not fool you. We don't
Yeah.
walk and pick out, well, you don't have much here, but we don't walk and pick out the rest of mine when we let.
Uh, oh,
Yeah, you're muted. Muted.
oh.
Uh-oh. Mute.
You're muted. You're muted.
Your mute button.
Kevin, where you there?
Mm.
Because Kevin tell me tell me, say me they're right next door. Uh, Let me see. I think she. Hold on. And folks, bear with me because my system I go all over the place from last night. Still have problems. Hold
Yeah.
on.
I see somebody mentioned in your chat, Carol Campbell mentioned Cynthia Schloss. Oh my God, she was
Yeah.
beautiful voice.
You're back.
You're muted. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
it's her camera that is going out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it a jump all over the place. Kevin, where the help? Yeah, yeah, my goodness.
Mm-mm.
All right, here she is. Uh-oh.
On mute. Oh, no. It's taking out her camera.
Jamaica mash up. You know that song that says? You know that
No,
song?
never heard.
No, no, send it to you. Yeah, man.
No. I'll tell you something. Only Jamaican because, like I was watching some shorts and where they were having funerals for Argentina, and I'm like, only in Jamaica. I mean, funeral, you know, when they're going to a real funeral and they bury the casket and they do the whole. And I said, only in Jamaica. And those moments of laughter really, helps you to come down from
Yeah.
the heaviness of it all, because it's very consuming, very consuming.
All right, here she is.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Are you hearing? See if her volume or unmute button is on.
Can you hear us?
Mm.
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
It's muted. That's what happened. She's unmute. Yes.
I'm on. I'm live.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I know you have to go up. There's one
But
question.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
But I can't hear you.
You can't hear?
Oh no.
All right, maybe I have to come off altogether.
Are you hearing?
No, Chef.
Uh-oh.
She has a radio program, and I wanted to ask her about it. I think it's her first radio program, starting this Friday night on Reggae Global Radio. She has
okay.
Yeah, let me see if this thing giving me a hard time, man. All right, she's back.
My gosh.
You can hear?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right,
good.
Okay,
I'm hearing you now. Yes, good.
Listen, I wanted to get to you because I know time is at a premium and you have to go. I wanted to get to your radio show this Friday.
I mean, we jump back and forth like from the very, very beginning stages, and to where I am now. It's been, a good stretch with lots of, experience and stories. But yes, the radio show.
Yeah. I figure we'll get the radio show in, and if you have some more time, then because there are lots of questions here in the chat, and I'm sure Sis has some, and I'm getting some on my phone as well. But let me get to the
on your phone. Okay.
Yeah, people are sending me text me questions to ask. But let me ask you about this reggae show. What prompted you to do a reggae show? First of all, have you ever done a reggae show on a consistent? Not a reggae show, a radio show on a consistent.
It's my first time. First radio show.
What prompted this first time?
I mean, it was interesting that, Joanna, my team, my other half, Andre Morris, we had the conversation long ago. Andre and I had the conversation long ago that we would do a radio program that would be inspiring, positive, and, and we just couldn't find the right group of people to partner with. And so we kind of like put it on the back burner for a while. And I think COVID prompted, because remember during that time, people were locked down, and I used to go online and play music and sing just to entertain people, especially when they were talking about mental health, and I'm thinking, what can I do to, keep our reggae people going? And I just went online and I would play music and sing till I'm tired for about an hour, and then I would get off, And so I figured, okay, maybe I can do a radio show, maybe, because I have so much to say, so much to share. And when Joanna said, "Hey, what do you think about doing a radio show?" We were like, "Yeah, that's something that we had on the back burner, but yeah, it would be a cool idea to do it now." And I said, "I don't know how I'm gonna commit to it though." And she was like, "Well, trust me, there are creative ways to do a, a radio show." And I was like, "All right, let's go," just like that.
She talked you into it. Talked you into it.
She mentioned it, and we figured it would be a great opportunity.
Let me tell you something. You're with you're with good people, because I am where I am because of Jonah Marie. And all of my failures, they belong to me. All of my success, I share them with her. And
Big up yourself, Joanna.
and also Ed, because they gave me some advice when I was starting out, and I kind of like say, yeah. Turns out that they were correct. They were absolutely correct. Now, people tune in. Etana Reggae Show. Friday is premiering. Something I go on and say, I'm thing I jump all over the... No,
Friday, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Friday, you know what? Go ahead and read, because the screen is just jumping all over the place for me. It's Etana Reggae Radio Show premiering this Friday. You know what? Go ahead and read it for me now, because the screen is
this Friday, July 24th. Come share the good vibes with me. I could talk the things them. Uplifting and positive messages. And share good vibes and good music. Music that is well created. And that's what I meant to have a thing for well created song, well produced. Even a song, I feel like my idea of well produced songs, I think some of them when I already love them, but you get to understand how much I love and appreciate some of the same music that you love. So let's share some good vibes and lock in Friday.
Yeah, and people remember, it's Reggae Global Radio, www.Reggae Global Radio. The same station you listen to me and you listen to Kevin on a Saturday, and you listen to Kevin sometime during the week. But
it's only 2 hours as well. It's 2 hours, 2 hours long.
Let me play you this small video here, because I want to ask you a question about reggae going global, not just reggae with Jamaicans. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Music was never made to entertain you. It was actually made to wake you up. Because in Rastafari, reggae music is a spiritual warfare through sound, which every bass line carries history. Every lyrics carries wisdom, and every song carries purpose. It's used to praise Jah, spread love, and to awaken minds. It carries memories, pain, resistance, and truth. Artists like Bob Marley didn't just sing songs, they preached consciousness. Because when Bob Marley sang, he wasn't just performing, he was delivering truth. When Peter Tosh also said equal rights and justice, that wasn't a chorus, that was a demand. And Benny Spear, when he chants about Marcus Garvey, that's history they never taught you. Reggae exposes Babylon, uplifts the oppressed, and reminds I and I who we are. That is why when you hear it, you don't just listen, you feel it in your soul. So no, reggae is not entertainment. Reggae is actually revelation. So don't just vibe to reggae, because if you really listen, you realize that reggae is not music. Reggae is education through vibration. Because a song today can be a revelation tomorrow. On that note, I and I say, Jah King Selassie I.
100% true.
What do you think about that, Etana?
I mean, I can hear you. I can't hear you now. I heard the video, but I can't hear you.
That's it.
So he's asking you what do you think about what the video is saying? He's saying in the video. Are you hearing me? Oh. Yes, he's asking what do you think about what the guy was saying in the video?
I want to answer you so bad, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, um, he's right, absolutely right, and that is why even in the beginning, I mentioned to you that I don't write certain songs or I don't write certain lyrics, you know, because it it's not soul food. I would rather write
Mm.
songs like arise, or when I'm on love home, or
No stop. No stop
I'm not
soon.
afraid
Can
people
you
talk, them songs. You can't hear me?
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 yes,
Sure.
yes.
May I
Yes,
come
man, go on
off?
talk. Keep talking. Keep talking. No, man, keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, certain lyrics I will not write, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's absolutely right. When we are listening to reggae music on the Etana Reggae Radio Show on Global Radio, Global Reggae Global Radio, let me tell you how everything is right along that line. Like it's right on the money with everything we even just say.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
It- it-
Like Bob Marley said,
I
when
don't
the
know
music
why
hits,
we're
you feel
having an
no
issue
pain.
again.
I don't think she's hearing. I don't think she's hearing us.
Oh
I want to
no.
hear you.
She have to go come out
Oh my.
and return.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey,
Let's big up yourself,
yeah.
Marcus. Let's soon bring you in, Marcus. Let me see if
Oh,
no, we have
you
a
not come talk foolishness with me?
no. All right, big up yourself, Marcus. Bring you in.
Help.
Can can you hear now? Tell me yes.
Are you hearing now, Etana?
All right, I'm
Uh,
off again.
oh my gosh. No, no. Somebody said, does Jamaica know it? Ed Robinson said, does Jamaica knows this in 2026 laugh out loud? God have mercy.
Listen, put the question in the chat. You might be able to see them. All right, hold on.
I'm
Yeah,
here. Can you
you
hear
can
me?
hear.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Okay,
All
cool.
right. Yes.
All right, let me
So
ask you this. No, go ahead.
that's it. No, go ahead.
All right. The next question is how do you balance? And I'm sure you do a good job of it. But the question is, how do you balance staying true to yourself, who you are, your music,
Mm.
while evolving with the changing sound of reggae?
For many years, I think of myself as the the person who don't worry about trend, set
Ah.
my own trend.
Mm. Mhm.
And I'm confident in every step that I take. I'm not worried about, yes, you know, when you're a certain kind of artist willing to do certain things, obviously.
Mm-mm.
LW, you want to ask you questions, but you see what go on.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, she's back.
Oh, she needs to unmute.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah. So yeah, when you're a certain kind of artist willing to do certain kind of things, obviously, money come in different ways, things come to you in different ways. But I always consider what I can sleep with at night. When I
Hmm.
go to bed at night, can I deal with what I have done in the day? So yeah, I don't but as I do what I came here to do. I think I am living in my purpose. And if it was not my purpose, it would be difficult for me to walk away from, what we perceive to be the perfect life in music when, you know, the only thing I had to do was show up. People would
Mhm.
be there to dress me. They do your hair, them do your makeup. The only thing you do is show up, literally. They feed you, they pay you a stipend to pay you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything, you just show up.
Mhm.
you know and I think that, and knowing where the group was headed, and knowing the people who we were around as managers and stuff like that, like we were there. We were this close, Um, but literally, when I came out of when I came out of the video shoot, walk into the restroom, and I look at myself, I look like a doll, like a real doll. I'm not asking you, like dolly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't get over the camera guy holding the camera between my legs while I was dancing, like during the choreography. And I
Mm.
just couldn't get over it. I felt violated.
Mm.
And
Mm.
immediately my spirit told me, like I knew that I never wanted that. And I didn't feel like I had enough power to break the camera, or to say I don't want to do this anymore at that time. So I just
Mm-hmm.
left.
Mm.
And so it is in that moment that I realized, like, hey, yes, I can sing, and yes, I've been given this gift, but what do you want to do with it? And that's when I asked
Mm-hmm.
that question. And ever since that day to now, I have not and I'll know I'm gonna divert. I'm still on the same path, you know?
Awesome.
Stay right there. Don't divert.
Awesome. Yeah.
Two in the chat has been asked this question a long time ago and is complaining that I didn't ask you the question. So the
Yeah.
question: who in your immediate family had the greatest motivation or influence on your success as an international?
Mm.
In my immediate family, my husband, my other half, you know.
Mm.
But
Mm.
Was it big up?
first,
Big up, big up.
first, it was my grandmother.
Mhm.
My I love my grandmother so much. I get too emotional when I talk about her, my mother's mother. So I feel like sometimes I don't talk about her a lot because of that. But all of her little sayings and teachings and moments when I was singing just in the yard, walking up and down as a child, and she would get me on pronunciation. It's not say from, so we can hear it. Say from, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like singing and minding my own business, but she was listening. It's almost like she knew, She knew something I didn't know. And yeah, it was first my grandmother.
Sis, you have any questions before we? Because
Yeah.
I know.
What encouragement? Yes. What encouragement would she give to young female artists who are trying to break into the business, not to do lewd, lascivious music, but to do conscious music that empowers, uplifts, and entertains at the same time?
Well, there are definitely different levels of people, mentally, spiritually, in different ways. And then it depends on their environment and them, you know, conditioning and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing is important for me is that if you decide to do a certain kind of music, think of people like Little Kim, think
Mm.
of Mary J. Blige, think of all the stories you've heard from many artists who we never even expected to hear them kind of story from how they lost so much of them, the
Mm-hmm.
inner
Mm-hmm.
self, the soul. They lost so much by giving to people who never valued them, not even a little
Right.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
one thing I know is that learning the business of music is important because you enter music, the life, because you think of the lifestyle and, you know, the glamour. But would you tell you, enough of them see the glamour
Glamour
and
and the glitter. Think
them
better
think a better
rose.
rose. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, you also hear them say music business is like worse than selling drugs.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, think about it. It's if you go down into the depths of it, it can be very dark. So you have
Right.
to know self, very important, and never be fearful of being at the bottom or starting over. And
Mm-hmm.
that's in anything in life. never be fearful of starting over, because long as you have life, long as you have your talent, and remember that people outside we can't sing a lick, can't write a note, they will take everything from you, everything, and leave you with nothing. So be aware, be mindful, um, know thyself. Very important. Know thyself and be centered. And when a time for be still, be still. You understand? And follow your heart, not your
But this
emotions. That that
right.
that that
But listen to
that
what you
voice.
just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
What keeps you personally sane and grounded?
Our husband.
Oh, yeah,
No. All
yeah.
right.
Well, outside of him, outside of him, what in your quiet
I
space, what
think
centers you?
I think it's knowing God. It's knowing that I'm never alone. Knowing that for me, I wasn't sent here by myself, though I may be in a room by myself. I feel like I have angels that show up at that time and a place every single time when I need. I feel like every time that I'm in trouble, they show up, and I feel like that is God. God shows up for me every single time. And so I have the highest faith, um, and I believe in the power that created each and every one of us, even though we're on separate levels, you know. But there is one power that connects that
Oh.
flesh to that light in that womb, in that time. Something brings it there, you know. So I believe in that power.
Okay.
Before you go,
Awesome.
I have to ask you this question. AI. Are you fearful of it? Do you embrace it? Do you work with it? How do you see it? Because you were saying you have to be centered, you have to be true to yourself, and you have the music that you're putting out. But now we see that people can put out all of these things artificially. How does that make you feel as an artist? And is there space that you can work with AI to still communicate and still touch people?
So I'm living my purpose, and I don't think I was put here for no reason. And what I've done already cannot be undone. It's already done. And so I'm not fearful of AI, because AI not have my soul. AI, when AI just not have my soul, it can mimic,
Mm-hmm.
but it don't have my soul.
And on that note, we're going to say, big up yourself, Etana. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't leave Etana, because I want you to have the final word. But please, people, check her out this Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Reggae Global Radio. By the time that's Eastern Standard Time, New York time, 8 to 10, which would be 7 to 9 Jamaica time. And it's only on one place. Reggae Global Radio. You must tune in. It's our premiere, and believe me, I just sense it in my bones. I just feel it that this is going to be a highly successful show. We're asking all of you to go over there and support this endeavor, because, like she said, the music we are going to hear is conscious music. Music that will uplift your soul. Music that you'll be educated. No little, yeah. You can get that anywhere. So I need you to go over there and support her this Friday and every Friday that she's on. Etana, thank you for being here. The final word is yours.
Just get ready and click the link and share the link. You understand? I feel like I am supporting other artists in reggae music, great creators of reggae music, you know. And I'm looking forward to sharing some strong words with you. Not a long conversation, but just strong words that stay with you and keep you inspired, keep you grounded, keep you, spiritually strong and focused when you need to be.
All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. God bless you. It's a pleasure meeting you, Etana.
Take care. We'll see
God
you
bless
soon.
you too.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye. Yes, my people, Etana, lovely, lovely young lady. Very inspiring. Nice, very lovely reggae music. I mean, her music you can listen to it over and over and over and over again, and just you can do all kinds of things with it. I was just gonna mention something, but it's a family show, so you know we'll keep
Is
it.
she from Clarendon?
Over from Clarendon.
Is she Etana? Is she come from Clarendon?
She said Kingston.
Oh, me come from Kingston too, you know.
No, no, Jeff, tell me about it. Jeff, give up your secret. Please, I'm asking here this Friday night from 8 to 10, the New York time, the 7 to 9 Jamaica time, and support Etana on Reggae Global Radio. She's premiering her reggae show this Friday. Go over there and check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mr. Marcus Bird. Marcus, where you there? You fly with like bird. No, I'm there. No, this is a remarkable young man, people. And some of you've seen him before because he's been on the show, I think twice. This is going to be his third time. And he has a message, and some of you heard it on Saturday. But I asked him to come back to come back and repeat the message, because it's a message of strength. It's a message of vulnerability. It's a message of courage. It's a message of staying power and drive and will to live. It's a message of excellence. And so I look forward to having him repeat the message. And at the end of the message, he will be asking for your assistance. But I need you to just listen. Just listen to him first. And you'll understand why I say all the things I just said about him. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Marcus Bird.
Evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, Marcus.
They're only for breeze. They're with.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, say the hot thing. So let me turn off the fan. Hold on.
Oh, a fan. Oh. I thought you were going to tell me you're by the beach, my brother.
No, man. No, I saw the fan from distance away. All right. Evening, and evening to you. Is your Daisy magazine? Daisy.
Good evening, I'm Marcus. How are you?
I'm well.
All right. People, we had Marcus on. The very first time we had him, we were excited. And the second time we're excited, and we're still excited. But the first time we found out that Marcus is a linguist of some sort. I forgot the term they use.
Yeah,
polyglot.
Yeah.
Well, how many languages do you speak fluently?
You know, it's I can handle myself in 5.
5. Yeah. What are the 5?
So it's English, of course. Then we'll have Japanese, German, Spanish, and French.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get to this point where you can speak 5 languages fluently?
Well, I had a very powerful conversation on Monday with Kevin Stew on the Kevin Stew show.
Big up yourself, Kevin.
And we went through this odyssey of conversation, but it was really also about my odyssey. And as I was telling him about the origins of my language learning and all of that stuff, I realized that language learning was one of the things that taught me about the resilience that I would need for what was to come that I hadn't seen yet.
Hold on a second. Kevin say at 6, you must include patois.
Yeah. Yeah, man, can chat patois too, man. You don't know the thing, though. Yeah, man. So we went on this odyssey of conversation. And the thing about language learning for most people, or any kind of skill acquisition, is that most people think they can't do it. You see, when I was in high school, I went to Campion College, right? And I had gone to Hydel Prep when Hydel just opened. Now, for those of you who don't know what Hydel Prep is Heidel Prep is a relatively new school in Jamaica. It's been open about how many years now? 25 years, something like that. And Hyacinth Bennett was a visionary. And I remember the school I was going to at the time, apparently there was a teacher who said something about me relative to math. I don't remember what the exact statement was, but it's almost as if they said like, well, Marcus isn't that good at math. And my mom didn't really like that. So she sent me to Heidel and I flourished there. When I graduated at like 11 years old, I was the top student. And I was also given this award for most potential. And I'm a little kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to Campion, you know, it's all the best students in the island. You know, the top of the top, government scholarship winners and everybody. And I found myself in this space where I didn't really understand who I was and how I fit into this whole space.
How did you get to Campion?
Sorry?
How did you get to Campion?
Oh, I applied.
But why the question is, why Campion? Why not Calabar and Meadowbrook and KC and
well, it was between Campion and Wolmer's. And I think at the time, you know, it's a long time ago, but I think at the time I just thought that, you know, let's say Campion is like top 2 schools. And I said, yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind going to one of the best schools in the island.
Okay.
Wolmer's, I never had any connection to Wolmer's personally, you know. I know Campion is co-ed.
Well, Wolmer's girls' school is next door.
I know, but you know, it's not until you're in 6th form you can go next door. So
well, that's true, because I actually transferred to Wolmer's, didn't start school there, but transferred, and the headmaster said, well, some of the classes I would take them over at the girls' school, and I was
exactly. And I ended up going to Wolmer's at 6th form. So you know, it came full circle.
Okay.
But when I was at Campion, the fascinating thing was that, you know, I was in this area with a lot of very smart people. And, you know, as a young kid trying to find your way, you kind of lose yourself. So you think you're not smart enough. I had an inclination for art. So at lunchtime, all the kids would crowd around me because I used to draw these comics. And the comics would represent something that happened from the day. So, you know, if we have the maths teacher say something funny, I would draw like a caricature of the teacher. People would clamor around. They would look at it and they'd laugh, and everybody knew that Bird was an artist, right? Okay. But I didn't accept that side of myself fully. You know, I thought that to be smart, you had to be really good at physics and math and chemistry and biology. You know, that was a gauge based on my peers. And I always thought I was a bad student. And it's followed me for a very long time. And this thought of being a bad student actually led to a major revelation through language learning. Because I used to think that learning another language was impossible. You know, I thought you had to be a genius. I thought it was something, you know, like I said, innate. And I remember the first time I listened to the CD, it's called Pimsleur. And Pimsleur is one of those language learning systems. And it was Pimsleur's Japanese. And this wasn't as in university. I went to Howard University in DC.
Yeah.
Bison. And I had, I'd gone to Pentagon City Mall with some friends, and I saw this CD thing. It was only $10, and they taught you some simple lessons in Japanese. And because I have some very good pronunciation, it was the first time I'd ever saw A to Z. You know, I said, wait, I can say this phrase, maybe I can say more. And that's how the journey started. But when I got deep into it, I found that the blockage I had in high school revisited me. I would get super frustrated when I felt like I wasn't doing well. I would think that me hitting roadblocks was because I'm a bad student or a bad learner. And language learning revealed to me that one of my biggest psychological blockages was a self-perception based blockage. It had nothing to do with ability or aptitude. And that became a core part of my identity. And when I tried, you know, Japanese the first time, and it got kind of weird, and then I went into French intensely, and I feel like I didn't reach where I need to reach in French. I said, yo, I'm gonna try German, because German is impossible, because German have some verbs where when you're talking, the front of the verb drop at the end of the sentence, and all of them things there. And the third time I attempted German was when I caught it, after doing 8-9 years of research and understanding what worked and what didn't work. And that first time, I was watching this thing called Easy German. It's on YouTube, you can find it. And the lady they walk around like Berlin asking people questions, and a lady said, "Was ist deine Lieblingsauto?" Which is, what is your favorite car?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I heard her say it and I understood, I was like, I understood what she said, right? She said, "Was ist deine Lieblingsauto?" And people say, natürlich, Porsche, you know, like I like Porsche or whatever car. And that was the inception point. Like the movie with DiCaprio, when they plant the thing in the man's brain, I said, oh, it's possible. And what ended up happening there was that after getting the German and following through with it, I went back to Japanese, back to Spanish, and then I was able to kind of level them up. And the reason why I'm saying this is that the learning of languages, which is to me something that was absolutely impossible, you know, was a revelation about one, your personal ability, and two, how you perceive things in general. So that's like, you know, a quick version of the aspect of the language story there.
The message that if you can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, I believe so. You see, the thing is that we have a structure to reality. There are certain rules that exist for everyone, and most people, if you follow those rules, you will get to the point you need to reach. The things that are going to block you the most tend to be the things that are psychological that you may not be aware of. So a big part of my research when it comes to skill acquisition and doing things quickly is understanding that your biggest hurdle tends to be psychological. Like, it's crazy when you think about it. But when I realized that I struggled for years to learn a language or to believe in myself in a certain way, simply because of a thought, it was very, very shocking. And once I flip that switch, and you started to just calm down. You say to yourself, oh, everybody makes mistakes in the beginning. You know, in the beginning, you need and when you put some math to it, like you have to listen to about 500 to 1,000 hours of your target language before you really start understanding certain things. So you give yourself like a 4 to 5 month grace period instead of just pressurizing yourself after 30 days, you know? When you realize that 5,000 high frequency words allows you to read in most languages 98% of written text and understand 98% of spoken text, then you say to yourself, oh, so if I know 5,000 words, I'm going to be in a certain percentile, and you're going to have a certain ability. And then the mathematics starts to add up, and you just get more and more calm. So even if you start in a brand new language, you say to yourself, oh, I know all these hurdles in the beginning. You understand, Mr. Rattigan?
Right.
In the beginning, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to listen. You're not going to understand anything. But you know that in 6 to 8 weeks, you can reach here, and in 8 to 12 weeks, you reach here. So you can forecast, and that forecasting keeps you calm. So in the beginning, you're completely in the wild, and you just don't know what's going on. And when you get this ability, it's very freeing. You know, it's very, very freeing.
It's just that when you set targets and then you don't meet them, then it gets kind of frustrating, right? And so what do you do to break through that? Because I guess a lot of people just say the hell with this and just move on, do something else.
Well, honestly, that I think has to do with the way the learning system teaches us, education. We're taught that, you kind of have to absorb information and then regurgitate it. We're not taught about our own potential, or we're not taught about how to psychologically prepare ourselves to be who we want to be. So it comes back to that, because if you don't know what's ahead of you, for some people, all they see is a barrier. You have a very small number of people in any situation that no matter what they're facing, they always see like a green pasture with a couple barbed wire here and there, but the most is a green pasture. And you have people like that who they have something to do, they can sit away. But most people see a wall or a couple walls in the distance, and they don't know how to scale those walls. And then, but imagine if those walls didn't really exist, or you are at least aware of them. So if you're aware of the walls, then you can walk with a ladder. And the ladder is the information that you use to get over those hurdles. So like I can tell somebody right now, the best practice is to learn a language very quickly, because I know what's going to bother you. I know what's going to block you. I know what's going to slow you down. I know it's inefficient. So when you're going on your journey, you're going to face frustration and so on. But there's so many things that you're not going to be thinking about that it's almost like you're going to have a superpower. It's crazy.
Is there a difference between studying it and total immersion, like going to the country and just drop right in the middle of it, and now you just
there is a difference. There's a difference from a basis of like neuroscience, right?
Is it a big difference? I know there's a difference, but I guess the question I misspoke. Is there a big difference that?
No, man, there's a massive difference, but a motivated person can get most of the benefits of immersion nowadays because we have all this access to technology. So I'll give you a quick example, right? You need to listen to a lot of Japanese or Spanish or French. You need to watch a lot of it and you need to read a lot of it. 25 years ago, you didn't really have Netflix like that. You didn't have YouTube filled with all these videos. So to get French immersion was hard. But now if I want to learn French, there are literally thousands of hours of French podcasts for free, French TV shows. You can set your Netflix to French. You have French dubs. You have a treasure trove of immersion, and you can get a big portion of that through just media. And then if you want to focus on speaking or whatever, you can do that. Being in a native environment does something I call it activates the second brain. And this is a theory I came up with recently. Because if I'm watching you talk Patois and I don't speak Patois, I'm trying to process what you're saying, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a very one-sided interaction. So if I'm watching a show, if I'm reading a book, it's a one-sided interaction, even if I'm, using books to do reference and so on. But when you're sitting down talking to somebody, your brain activates a very different set of it's called like spider senses. Let me give you an example, recent example. I was out and these two girls, well, I guess they're girls, these women, two women sat down beside me. And I knew they were Japanese by looking at them. So I just said, are you guys from Japan? And they said, how do you know we're from Japan? And then I said, Hatsuon. And Hatsuon is your pronunciation or like your way of speaking. Mm-hmm. But it's a very esoteric word, So they said, Hatsuon, and then they started talking to me. And I ended up talking in Japanese for like an hour, right? And my Japanese is I don't talk very often, But what happens when you're in it, talking to somebody, your brain is forced, it's like you're playing football and a man coming at you and you're the defender and you're trying to figure out if you're going left and right. Your brain is constantly activated like that. And what happens is that it remembers when you don't know things, it prioritizes mistakes you make, and it starts to build on it rapidly. So I'm talking and I'm saying certain things and I'm sticking, and then within like a minute, I improve on it. And then I'm saying this and I'm saying that. That is what immersion gives you. Immersion gives you, I call it being in the wild. Because when you're in the wild and somebody goes up to you and says, something like, so they're saying, excuse me, where is Shibuya Street? And you're like, But then you go down the road and I'm say, そのコンビニ、ですね、パンを食べたから、食べたいけど、どんな, and you're like, whoa. You have to deal with it. So what I just said was a guy said, in that convenience store, I kind of want to eat some bread, but I was thinking, so I'm asking about the food. When you're in that situation, immersion, it forces you, it's like your brain tingles. And what you don't know. But your brain gets a spider sense. So when you do the study and you can get a certain kind of immersion, it just activates the superpower, meaning you might be messing up, but you're getting way more mileage.
I live in Saudi Arabia, right? For quite some time. And they were telling me about immersion. But you hang around, I was hanging around mostly English speakers, but they said, get a girlfriend. And you
They always say that.
True?
Well, I've heard it over there. Go get a French girlfriend, get a German girlfriend. But I always say to people, you expect if we just find a German girl, so they're not under some rock, But it's fascinating. And I learned so much about myself through this process. Because as I said, I saw myself as the bad student. I saw myself as the poor learner. Even though I had come in, like I said, to Campion, top of my game, I just had this perception that was following me. And when I went through the process of learning languages, it after a while, I realized that was the biggest blockage. And that blockage was actually blocking many other things in my life.
Let me bring Sis in before we move on to
the
real reason why you're here.
Yes, sir.
For Marcus, the poor student, bright student, polyglot.
Yes, Marcus, it's refreshing listening to you. But I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about all the countless students who are in your situation right now, you know, and being labeled. And that's one of the things that the system is too quick to label students as ineducable, that sort of thing. And I wasn't in the system, so you know, you get students and you put them according to how they're performing. And if they're not performing at a certain rate, they create a remedial class for them without any understanding that creating a remedial class does something to that child's self-esteem. Because you can create a remedial class in that grade, and they're in that class, and they know that they're in that class because they're perceived as not being educable, you know, or you can have their peers, you can keep them back while their peers, you know, move on to the next grade. And what that is doing to them is that it is setting them up for failure later on in life, because they don't see themselves as being capable of, you know, achieving beyond where the box that they have been placed in. But my question, I have two questions for you. And one is, how accommodating was the education system to your level of learning? And what was the greatest lesson that you have learned since?
The education system, as in our standard education system?
Yes, the education system in general, yes.
And the greatest lesson I've learned?
Yes, since all of this, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to tell you an answer that's probably the most profound observation I've come to about learning in general, right? And I think it will answer everything very clearly, and I'm going to do my best to answer it. But there is this massive, massive epiphany I came to in terms of teaching and learning. And it's when I had the best academic run of my life after going through a situation where I nearly dropped out of Howard University. So I'm just going to give you a quick preamble. It's not very long. So I had taken a sabbatical, I'd taken a year off. And when I came back, there was an error that happened, you know, in the administrative system. All the classes that I had withdrawn from, which are supposed to be W's on your transcript, all of them turned to F's. And my GPA plummeted down to 0.4 something or something like that. And I was trying for a very long time to fix it with administration, but this was a long time ago. It wasn't as digital, not as good digital. You know, you had paper slips. There's a lot of miscommunication, and I almost gave up after trying for a year and a half to get it fixed. And when I looked at my transcript, everything I'd done up to that point, which was computer science, remember when I said I'm an artist? I stood in front of a window in this apartment I was living in with a friend because I had to move outside the city in DC. I looked out the window and said, what is my talent and what am I interested in? And if the snow was falling, I never forget it. And I said, I always like film and I always like writing. And I ended up saying, I'm going to go after the film degree. And when I went to the film department, they said, we can't let you in because your GPA is too low. And I said to the Miss Bernadette, who was my advisor, I said, oh, but I've written scripts and I've actually written a novel. I'm serious about writing. And she looked at me and she said, you wrote a script already, like a full script? And I was like, yeah, I wrote 2 scripts and a novel. And I wasn't lying. And she said, all right, try and have a good semester and come back and see me. That semester, I took 6 classes and I got 5 A's, 1 B. And I still vexed with the professor about the B. And I had a 3.8 GPA. It brought me from where I was to 1.98. And I needed 2.0 GPA to get in. And when I went back to her, I said, please don't let me not get into school C because of a 0.02 differential. She spoke to the dean. I was let in. And then in 2.5 years, I had 1 B, all A's. I had 4.0, 4.0, 4.0, 4.0, trustee scholarship, the best academic run of my life. And the moral of the story here, which answers your question, is that the best thing that I learned is that a teacher can never give you a question that you can't answer.
Okay.
The question you can't answer or the feeling you can't answer it comes from your own mind. If I'm teaching you about indices or calculus or parabolic equations, I am not going to give you a question you can't answer. All of the details will always be in every question. And when I looked at mathematics, when I looked at everything I was doing, whether it was a law class, introduction to economics, it was easy for me because you cannot get a question you can't answer. You just have to know where to look. So if I'm getting an economics question about simple interest, they're going to have the information there. They're going to have what's missing and what you need. And all you have to remember is the equation. You get me? You always have the answer. And when I realized that, I said, oh, wow. So you're telling me that most students, 99.9% of students, go into class thinking, I am not smart enough. It's all about aptitude. It's all about this person versus that person. But you cannot be given a question you cannot answer. And it's like something that people have to really sit and think about. Imagine if I was told that at age 11, right? Imagine if the pressure was taken off my shoulder, where it said, no, Marcus, we can't give you a question you can't answer. Yes, you're going to have to learn the equations, but the information is always there. If x plus y equals 5, and you know that x is equal to 5 minus y, you can always represent x in anywhere x pops up. And when people tell you that, you start to say, oh, and then the patterns emerge and you become confident. And I was so confident that from Wednesday through Saturday, I had a routine of partying. You know, I would go salsa on Wednesday. I had my trivia night on Thursday. Friday night was Adams Morgan. Saturday was somewhere in, I forget the name of the place. But because I had it so organized, and any situation I was in, I was like, they can't give me something I can't answer unless it is a theoretical proof. But that theoretical proof is also based on things that the teacher must give you. So there's virtually nothing you can be given in education that you can't answer. So I wanted to say that because that is the most profound thing that I've learned to this date. And as it relates to the educational system and how I feel about it, I think that the psychological approach to being a good student should be the first class you take. Because most kids believe they cannot do the work for various reasons. Now, some children have actual issues, but I think most of them just think they can't do it. Because when you're 11 years old, you don't even have a concept of a decade. 10 years before, you were 1 year old. You don't even really understand life. You don't understand yourself as a person. And you're thrust into this environment where you're supposed to perform. And no one is telling you that you're fully capable of performing. So imagine walking in on the first day of first form, and the teacher says to you, all right, students, I just want to let everybody here know that all of you are from different backgrounds. You're all different people, but I'm not going to give you anything that is unanswerable. I'm going to teach you the methods. I'm going to explain all the concepts, but the answer will always be in what I give you. My goal is to lead you to the understanding, and you can take the pressure off yourself. Know that you can answer everything. If someone had said that to me, my life would be different in a certain way.
Right.
I think that's my biggest epiphany there. Did I answer your question?
Yes, certainly. And I'm listening to you and I'm thinking that basically what you're saying is that there has to be a reordering of the way students are taught. And in order for that to happen, there has to be a reordering of the way teachers are trained. Because too often, and as a matter of fact, it is easier to put a child in a box and label them as being ineducable, mischievous, bad, and it's not really that. It is deeper than that, because sometimes a child's behavior can be, as you say, linked to other issues like dyslexia. But being a dyslexic child doesn't mean that child is ineducable. Not every child is going to be academically inclined. How then can a teacher who is just trained normally identify that student who might be disruptive and see that student as being a comedian, being an artist, being someone who wants to learn plumbing, who wants to do vocational or skills training? So then there has to be a reordering of how teachers are trained, and then how these teachers now impart that knowledge onto students so that they can maximize the potentials of students, because too many students have been told that they're dunce. And the words that they use to describe children deflates them, demoralizes them. The schools, oftentimes, the education system too often, creates the environment that allows for children not to learn, to their fullest potential. Like the school system, the education system is not bringing out that child's fullest potential because they're placed in a box. And I can understand the economics and, the different situations that teachers are going through. They don't have the resources. Schools are underfunded. But if there's this understanding, just listening to you, then we'll graduate more children, not only for academic purposes, but for the purpose for which they were created. Because the teacher would first know how to identify the students in her class or in his class by observing their behavior. So I thank you for the answer, because in the answer, it's part of a bigger purpose.
And I would like to say that we aren't even taught about the potential of our own brain power.
True.
In my research on the mind memorization and neuroscience, scientists estimate that our brains can hold 3 petabytes of data. And I think a petabyte is 1,000,000 gigabytes or something. So an easy way to structure it in terms of data that the average person can think of, that's about 30. Is either 3 or 30 million hours of television. I think 3 million. So imagine sitting down trying to watch 3 million hours of television. That is your average brain capacity. So when you say to somebody, you want to learn 50 vocabulary words for a semester, like if you really understood your own potential, like that is nothing for the brain. So again, it's all about the framing and the structure of it. And I will say the last thing on this topic is that when I lived in Japan for 2 years, and when I was teaching in Tokyo, I had to teach, as an English teacher, I taught the regular students and also any special needs kids. And there was a class that I'll never forget, and I would have to teach them on Friday. And Friday was my worst day because I had to teach 6 periods from 8 straight through till the end of school. So no breaks. And I was like, man, I have this class afterwards, the first day. But when I went in there, these were actually damaged kids, not just like kids with issues. Like you could see that one of them suffered some kind of chemical damage, like their head looked funny, some were like severely autistic and kind of off, And when I came in there as Mr. Marcus, I came with this perspective of, listen, man, if them going to meet a Jamaican, them going to meet the Jamaican. And I would play these games with them about the world, and I framed it in a way that was easy for them. And they were the most vibesy students I had in any of the hundreds of students I taught. And I remember every time I taught them, I said to myself, anybody can enjoy learning.
Yes.
Anybody with the right kind of approach and framework, because maybe normally a teacher isn't even that excited with them. There was a kid that did not speak for the first 3 months I was interacting with him. I did the lessons. I went on the board. I talked in English, and I did the training that they gave me. And he would just kind of nod on because he was very shy. And then we played this game called What Is This? Where I say, what is this? And, and I said, it's keys. And then my assistant teacher, he'd say, it's keys. And one day we're walking outside, because it was just me and him in the class. It was only one student. And I said, let's go outside. And we're walking around. And I said, what's this? And he said, it's a flower. And the teacher nearly dropped, because she said, Mr. Marcus, he's never spoken to anybody. So it's things like that that let me know that you can touch people through the methods of the education. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if it was trauma or it didn't seem like maybe he had some bad home or abuse or something, But I say this to say that the average child is not as traumatized, but the average child nowadays is so pressured that they can become traumatized unaware of their ability. So yeah, we'll have some work to do. We'll have some work to do.
Yes, and the environment that many children are coming from, and they go to school, and it is, they're going to school traumatized already. But I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking about the scripture which says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So the power of the mind ought not to be underestimated. Thank you for that.
All right. Very engaging discussion. I'm learning.
We're going some places. We're going some places, man.
Yeah, I like the one. I particularly like the message of a teacher cannot give you a question you can't answer.
Can't answer.
Yeah.
No teacher in history. No
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have to kind of look inwards now and say, well, then why am I not answering the question? Because they can't give me a question that I can't answer.
Like they can't.
Yeah.
They're not there to fail you.
Exactly.
Fascinating. And
All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks, listen, Marcus is here because there are some things going on. And I shouldn't say he's only here because I enjoyed that segment, but there are some things going on with him physically that we want to talk about. We spoke about it on Saturday, but I think it's worth repeating. And at the end, we'll try and see what we can do to assist. Marcus, the floor is yours.
Yes. So first of all, I've been having a great time talking to both of you. I think that energy is a powerful thing. And when I reached out to Mr. Rattigan, I think 2 weeks ago, I just kind of told him a summary of the story. He said, yeah, man, come on, let's try and get you some help and so on. But it ended up being not just a conversation with him, but a conversation with Kevin, and now another conversation. And I just realized the value of interacting with people. Like, it just helps to calm down a little bit within yourself. And I just wanted to thank you for that opportunity, Mr. Rattigan. So basically, looking at me, I'm in a decentish place in terms of my spirit the last couple of days because of everything that's been going on. But in 2022, after a series of really bad health issues, I encountered the toughest situation of my life. So in 2022, I did a regular medical procedure, nothing that would cause any harm or just something therapeutic. And I knew something was immediately wrong. It was an IV. I just did an IV, regular IV. And I noticed shortly afterwards that I had these veins showing up on my body. And I'm a lifelong athlete, In high school, I played football, tennis, track. I used to do like bodybuilding. I've run 5Ks, half marathons. I used to do 100 push-ups a day. I'm not the kind of person that when you do them things where your hands get veiny or whatever, And I started to get concerned. And as these veins started to spread throughout my body, I became more and more fatigued, right? Not only that, I had this massive pressure that came in my legs and my hands. So when I stood up, it's like I'm wearing super tight socks and I could feel the pressure. And the pressure was so high that veins now started to show up on my legs that weren't there. And I'm getting more and more tired. It's why to this day, I'm still wearing these sleeves on my arm, because it's the only thing that kind of blocks the sensation of the pressure there. It's not as bad as it was in 2022, but it still remains. And what happened is that I went from pretty much relatively normal at the time, and within 3.5 months, I could barely walk. I had to draw some blood because, I was trying to figure out what's going on. And the blood was coming out very, very slow, and it was dark, almost black. And I remember my doctor said, that's not good. And I did all these tests. I did, they check for clots, because if anything happens like that, they check for clots. So they were like, I did, abdominal, pelvic abdominal ultrasound. I did Dopplers on my legs. I did all these things, and they didn't know what was happening, but I was fading fast, I was spending about 10 to 12 hours in bed every day, could barely move around, couldn't drive, walking anywhere would get me winded. And I thought that this was it. I felt like I was staring at death's door, because it's just a matter of time, because I was going down, down, down. I went from let's say I'm at 90% now, I went down to 10%. Unfortunately for me, myself and a friend of mine, we research current medical technology. And there's this thing called hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which is where you breathe in 100% oxygen in a chamber that is pressurized to 3 times the atmosphere we live in. So in our regular air, I think we have about 30% oxygen and 60% other gases. And then in the chamber, it's 100% oxygen. And the idea is that when you breathe that in, it, gives you healing and reactivates your cells. And I did that. Unfortunately, it kind of seemed to halt the process that I was sure was going to kill me if I didn't have any intervention, because nothing else was working. But then no, that left me in a situation where I had all of these problems. You know, I had massive bulging veins on my hands and legs, constant pressure, and this made my life a living nightmare for reasons that I have to tell you happened before this incident in 2022. So in 2019, I started suffering from really bad nerve pain. It seems like something compressed in my lower spine. I think it's called spondylolisthesis. And what happens is that your spine is acting up and then it creates pain all over your body. So you have pain in your hands, you have pain in your nose, pain in your eyes. You're just in pain all the time. And when the lockdown started happening during that period, my body went crazy. You know, I'd be in pain all day, joint pain, knee pain. I was having neck spasms all the time. And that is why I went on a health journey to try and heal myself before 2022. And something happened to me in 2021 where I had a groin, some kind of groin tear. And I couldn't sit down for like 9 months. And when I say I couldn't sit down, if I sat down, it would trigger a cascade of pain that was go through my body. And I already tell you I'm having pain and all these things. So it's like every day is like I was seeing white. And I became very drawn. I lost a lot of weight because I was so stressed. I wouldn't talk to anybody for weeks at a time because I was just so mentally out of it. And then I remember after this thing happened in 2022, now I have pressure in my hands. Now I have even worse fatigue, all of this pain, the pain sitting down. You know, it's just a kitchen sink hit me. And I remember a very vulnerable moment when I was sitting down in the bathroom one day. I think this is in 2023. I was sitting down in the bathroom. I'm about to take a bath. I'm naked. And I was sitting at the side of the bathtub for 1 hour. And what I was doing for that hour, I was just trying to keep myself together. I wasn't crying. I was just feeling like I was splitting apart. And I said, you know what? There must be a way for me to deal with this. There must be a way for me to find a remedy. Just hold on. Like, you know, just try and keep it together. And what happened is that right around the time all this stuff happened, I was very fortunate to get a contract as a creative director for a Red Stripe campaign. So I came up with a campaign for, because that's my background, marketing and creative direction. So I was able to fund every month, you know, all these therapies I'm trying. I'm doing chiropractor. I'm doing something called biomagnetic peer therapy. I tried a treatment from Switzerland that's supposed to help your body heal. I did this, I did that, and they helped a little bit, but I still had the massive pressure. I still had all these issues. I still had the nerve pain, and bit by bit, I improved a little bit. And I remember in late 2023, and this stuff all leads to where I am now. In late 2023, you know, the last of my savings, I said, you know what, I'm going to do two things. I need to travel for a little bit. And then I'm also going to do more of the hyperbaric therapy, which I told you about. I did 10 sessions before. This time I did 15. And in a couple of weeks, I felt much better. And I was like, yeah, man, I feel like I'm on the up and up. You know, I didn't have pressure in my hands. I didn't really feel so painy. I could even like run and jog a little bit and do all these things. And, you know, I felt like I was coming back. But the symptoms started to come back after a while. You know, the same pressure, the same fatigue, the same nerve pain. And now I was just like, I don't know what to do. And in early 2024, a friend sent me a message, the same brethren that me and him do research. And when he sent me this message, he sent me this company that does stem cell therapy. And I've researched stem cell therapy. And I said, yeah, man, stem cell therapy is very powerful when applied properly. I know it tends to be out of the reach of most people because it's costly. But I've heard like amazing things. And he sent me this website for a company called Bioaccelerator, XCELL. And when I looked on the website, you know, one of the first persons I saw was somebody who said they took antibiotics and it mashed up their body and then they were in a wheelchair. And when he went to the facility, he was in a wheelchair, but he left walking, you know, because like it started to help him that quickly. And I said, I don't 100% know what happened to me. But when I looked at all the testimonials, I said, you know what, all these people have spine problems, the same kind of problems as me. And this man climbing a mountain, this man doing this man has the energy to be a father, this man. And I said, I believe I found my solution. But here's the important thing that I told myself in this moment. I didn't know how much it cost and I didn't care. 2024, I said to myself, I think this is a way. I'm going to try to make it happen because I've been in such a dark place. I faced the darkest side of myself. You know, when you really think you're going to check out and you're hearing that voice in your head, you will do anything to survive. I spent all my life savings, you know, on different therapies and tests and everything. And as you know, when it comes to medical stuff, you can burn a massive hole in your pocket very quickly. You know, you could have saved up 100,000 US, 50,000, 20,000, and it's gone like that because medical procedures are expensive. So what ended up happening now is I said, okay, let me do the intake with this company. Let me check them out. And I did the intake, you know, I gave them my medical information. A team of doctors looked at my stuff because they don't have to accept you. But if they think they can help you, they create a protocol. And let me give you a bit of context before I go to the next part. The first person I saw on the website was Chuck Liddell. He's a famous MMA fighter called the Iceman. I saw people like Tony Hawk, Grant Cardone, you know, NFL players, UFC fighters, like big people, you know, along with the regular people. And I said, you know what? I must have a way to get this done by providing some service. So I put on my thinking hat and I started to research the company. Every night at about 2 a.m, I would watch a bunch of the videos, visualize myself getting treated, and then I would think of how to help them. And I found a plan after 8 months. And I pitched the CEO through Instagram. And to my surprise, like within a day, he responded. I made a little video. And my pitch was that me as a filmmaker, I would, if they can treat me, I'm going to make a documentary about the process. But not only that, I'm going to use all my marketing skills and all my marketing ability to get the brand out there as much as possible and do lead generation and get them clients. So it's a win-win for everybody. I said, all I want to do is try and get the possibility or the potential of being healed. So the CEO responded to me and we had a meeting December 2nd, 2024. And he didn't know that me come with a whole presentation, Mr. Rattigan. Like I came with a full PDF, you know, breaking on the documentary. I could speak competently about the company. I could speak about all the protocols. I could show where everything was going. And he was very excited. But it was the end of the year. And he said to me, all right, let's pick this back up in early 2025 because everybody's gone on vacation. But he didn't know that myself and me and a friend had planned to go to Medellin because my friend said, Marcus, we should be there because, you know, you have to try and make this happen. And I'm going to tell you a fascinating story that I was there for 2 weeks, couldn't reach anybody from the company, but I almost had a premonition one Sunday morning when me and a friend were going to this event called Ciclovia, which is every Sunday where they shut down some city streets and people can run and walk with their families. And I said to myself, be on the lookout for a tall Jason Bourne looking guy. And that's how the CEO of the company looks. And I say, yo, be on the lookout for him. I just have a feeling I'm going to see him. And we were out there doing some shooting and hanging out. And when we were coming back, the thing was almost done. I saw the CEO running and it blew my mind. I said, yo, that's the guy. And I ran over to him. And I said, hey, it's Marcus from Jamaica. And he stopped and he's like, oh, hey, man, you know, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, he's like, how long you been here? I said, 2.5 weeks. He's like, oh, shoot, man. Listen, you have my number? Take my number. You can come to the facility on Tuesday? I said, yes. So remember, 8 months I've been visualizing this happening, you know. Now I'm in the facility and the CEO is giving me a personal tour. He's showing me, you know, the military grade lab where they prepare the stem cells. He's showing me the physiotherapy rooms and everything. It looks like something out of a dream. And I felt like I was getting closer. So then after that, no, I got to talk to him for about 45 minutes. Me and him one-on-one, told him about my issues, told him about all the goals and how, you know, I could help the company. And then he set up a meeting. The meeting was February 26, 2025. It was me, him, the head of marketing and the head financial controller for his companies. And these are the top brass, right? And again, I brought the goods. I did the presentation. Everybody was excited. And after that, things went quiet for a little bit. For some reason, I couldn't reach the person I was supposed to reach, my point person. And weeks passed, months passed. I followed up with the CEO and he said, I'm sorry, Marcus, the team is busy, but you know, I'm going to press on them and make sure we're trying to get this done. So then like 8 weeks passed, 12 weeks passed, 3, you know, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to stop because I was starting to get frustrated because during this whole time, I'm still suffering from issues. You know what I mean? I look maga, I'm drawn, I'm in pain, I'm stressed. And I thought I was so close. And I didn't contact the CEO again for another 7 months until early this year when I had a health scare. So in January, I woke up in the morning, sometime in January. My head was spinning, everything was spinning. And you know, when everything is spinning, you get worried and you think it's neurological. And it turns out what my friend said was that I most likely had a cold, because I got sick right after that. And she said, when people get sick, sometimes you can get vertigo afterwards, but sometimes you can get it before. But when I went to the doctor, they told me that there is something going on in my brain, nothing like life-threatening or weird, but something called frontoparietal cerebral atrophy. And they say it's normal and it's mild, but it kind of made me say, look, man, the same people in in the facility, they treat your brain, they treat your body. And I said, you know what, I need to reach out to them, because I never had my second meeting. And the important thing I'm going to say here right now is that I said I'm going to make a video that is humanizing myself, right? When you're doing a presentation, marketing-wise, you have to bring the energy. You have to make people laugh. You have to smile. But, you know, they might miss out the fact that you're a human being that's also suffering. And I made a video talking about everything I'm saying to you right now. I said, you know, I had this thing happen to me in January. I showed them pictures of my body, you know, the veins and stuff. I reminded them of the opportunity to make this documentary, because stem cell therapy is becoming widely known right now, but presently there still aren't any documentaries about it. There's no documentary showing a person's story of going from where I was to triumphantly re-emerging physically into their life. Because even though I'm talking energetically to you right now, I can't run on them kind of things there. I can't really lift up nothing heavy. I can't wear a backpack and those kind of things. But wear a backpack is a problem. If I jog a little bit outside, is a major problem, right? And when I sent that video into them, it's a 9-minute video, but it explained everything. I said, you know, I'm a filmmaker. I've done these kind of marketing campaigns, and I made an appeal. I said, all I'm asking for is the chance to help you guys help other people. And I'm thank you for listening to my video. CEO got back to me in 2 hours. And he said, listen, man, I'm going to jump on this video ASAP. Messaged me a couple of days later. Long story short, he said to me, he said, Marcus, my team really likes you. And he said, if you can cover your expenses to come to Medellin and stay there, we will cover the cost of your treatment. And by covering the cost of the treatment, what this means, you know, is that they have neurosurgeons that do injections into what are called the facets of your spine if you have spinal injuries, people that treat your needs. You have orthopedic doctors. You have state-of-the-art things like cryotherapy, major autohemotherapy, personalized what are called nutraceuticals to ensure that your body is prepped so that when they inject you with these things called mesenchymal stem cells, otherwise called messenger stem cells, your body is prepared at the best level to heal itself. And I've seen amazing things happen. And these are all the things that they would cover if I could go to the facility. And the facility is actually in Colombia, which is not far from Jamaica. So it's an American company based in Arizona, but they have their medical facility in Colombia because Colombia allows them to give people exactly what they need to get the best results, as it's more limited in America. So the reason why I'm here today is that after getting that green light, you know, I said to myself, wow, you know, I really came so far. You know, I'm just an average person. I pitched this company, you know, this biotechnology company, and they're on board. And, you know, we had a back and forth and more time passed and I wasn't sure if everything was going on. And I did some tweaks, you know, I pivoted a couple times, but then everything got finalized and I got 100% green light. And I'm here today to say that I am raising funds to ensure that I can deliver my side of the bargain because they've agreed to their side of the bargain. Early in the year, I started a GoFundMe because when they said they gave me the green light, I said, okay, I'm going to raise money now to make sure I can just fly there, stay there, and do anything peripheral to producing this documentary. Because as a trained filmmaker, I'm going to guide the process. So it's a very fascinating situation I'm in because I have to wear the hat of patient and producer, right? So I have to wear two hats at the same time. And I started doing some fundraising early in the year, but when things went quiet for about 2 months, I stopped because I wasn't sure what was happening. I hadn't signed any paperwork or anything. But that's why I'm here tonight, you know, like just to share my journey. And my mission right now is beyond myself because throughout this process, I was obsessed with healing myself. But when I watched those dozens and dozens of videos of people suffering from spinal pain, chronic pain, all the things that people suffer from. I said, man, if I can make a documentary, and if I can use my skills, having gone to places like the Cannes Film Festival, which is the world's top film festival, having studied at Howard University, and being the kind of person who is okay being vulnerable and going deeper than a client would. A client goes to a facility, they get treated, they give a testimonial. A person like me goes to the facility, produce a documentary, and we don't just give a testimonial, we give a testament to what it can do. And this is where I am right now, trying to raise up these funds. Some very gracious souls have helped me so far on the journey. And, I'm 2 steps away. Once I raise up enough money, I'll be able to go there, I'll be able to stay there, and importantly, produce the best product for them while getting the treatment and doing the recuperation. The reason why I want to stay in Medellin during the recuperation is because the company is based in Medellin, and having been there before, it's a high altitude place. It's about 4,800 feet above sea level. So a lot higher than Jamaica, right, Mr. Rattigan? A good bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm there, I'm telling you, I feel like so different just being there. When you walk around, the air is different. Everything feels rarefied and clean. And I said, as part of this production, I want to recuperate there as well. And then we're going to come back to Jamaica. We're going to do a premiere in Jamaica. The GoFundMe is not for the premiere, but we're going to premiere it in Jamaica. The goal is to expose it to the Ministry of Health. Anybody who is interested in regenerative health and care, want to show it to like some of our star athletes who may not be aware of, this line of stuff. There's just so many things and so many applications. And then they have this person behind it now. And a little bit about my background is, as I said, I'm a filmmaker, graduated from Howard University, School of Communications. And I've worked over the years with brands like Pepsi, Smirnoff Japan, most recently the Red Stripe campaign, where I was a creative director for a simultaneous launch of 2 products, lots of responsibility, massive budgets, and everybody got happy. The last project did so well that it attracted Usain Bolt, because shortly after I finished the project, I saw that Bolt was brought on as a Red Stripe ambassador for the campaign that I came up with. And the campaign is called So We Do It. And that is the campaign I pitched to the top brass at Red Stripe and the agency I was working with at the time. So I'm just saying this all to tell you that, as a Jamaican, as a person who's gone through hell and back, we're just on a journey, and we're just trying to finish the journey in the best way possible.
I mean, it's a very moving, story, and thank God you're still here with us, and we hope that you will be with us for a long time to come. OT, we need to move the thing so people can see the GoFundMe thing, and people, whatever you can, that is going.
Yeah, man. So it has a summary there. And when you click on it, you'll see a short video that explains the whole journey. It shows you, some of what I went through. Yeah, you can play some of it here, because it if you scroll ahead, it will show you even some of like what the damage was done, all the things I was trying to do. It really paints a picture. You can sit down and watch that, and all your questions right there about me. You'll understand the full story on top of what I told you tonight. For those of you who are still with us.
Right. So we're asking you to be generous, be kind. The Lord loves a willing, loves a cheerful giver. Mm-hmm. And Marcus needs the help, and we need to see him back strong and healthy. So I'm asking all of you to go over to his GoFundMe and donate whatever you can. We're gonna play it. We're gonna keep this your GoFundMe up for quite some time. I'm gonna make sure that we'll push it as far and as hard as we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So any parting words?
Well, the first thing first, is that, as I said before, I'm very grateful in general. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this story and to impact people in such a way that they are willing to just listen to me, in my travels and everything I've done in my life so far. One thing I understand is that the greatest, people talk about English pounds are big currency, but the biggest currency is people, you know. And if you have people in your corner or people who have to listen to you, you know, so much can happen. And for me right now, I told you the story about the language learning and the resilience it taught me. And I did not know that that resilience would play such a role in this health journey, because I had days where I just didn't want to be alive. I didn't want to be around. I just felt like, not that I wanted to do something, I just couldn't handle it all. And I said, you have to be resilient, and a way will be shown to you. And once a way is shown to you, there's a guy, his name is Michael Beckwith. I don't know if he was quoting someone else, but he says, out of nowhere and no way, a way will be made. And I remember thinking that 2024, when I saw this company, I had no idea how I was going to make it happen. I didn't have the money. I'd been to Colombia once before, and I said, I'm not a UFC fighter. I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not a famous influencer. But I said, I'm Marcus Bird, and you know, I'm a Jamaican filmmaker and traveler, and I have a story, and I think that has enough value. I think I've given enough value, and I believe that they will see that. And I was fortunate. And the last thing I'll say is that when I spoke to the CEO at the facility in Colombia, he said something very profound to me. He said to me, he said, Marcus, he said, you know that the universe is on your side. And I said, why do you say that? And he said, when you message me on Instagram, he's like, your message went to spam. And I didn't even know Instagram had spam. So, you know, when you see the messages and you win the lottery and a Nigerian prince or Mario, you know, he said your message went to spam. And he said something told him that day to check his spam.
Wow.
And he saw my message, which led to the 2-year interaction we've had, me trying to, you know, get my foot in the door. But, you know, I feel that I had some help from the unseen hand, you know. So that hand up there, so we can't see it, but on our hand, we can see it. So I'm just saying, you know, like I just use that to give me strength when there were delays and so on. And to say that, you know, remember, you know, I thought I was going to see the guy and I saw him. Precognition is I think is just a download from the big man above, you know. Right. So there are all these things that we're saying that are pointing to a guidance that was happening. And I was also guided to this point, which is why I'm very comfortable talking to absolute strangers about the truth of my life, because I don't have anything to hide. This all actually happened to me. And right. I think that my life has value, and I think that other people's lives have even more value. And if I can help some of them through my story, you know, when I get that first email or that first call from a person that says, you know, I saw your video on this, and you know, boy, I did the treatment and I didn't even know there was that treatment. I know, you know, now I can play with my kids, or no, my back is all right. I'm waiting on that first moment of impact, because that's what I want to do.
All right. Thank you so much, Marcus. And we'll definitely be in touch, and keep up the spirit, keep up the faith, keep your chin up. You are quite a young man, and I'm telling you, we see big things in your future, like full recovery first. So hang in there. We're with you, and we'll check in on you from time to time, make sure everything is okay. And your GoFundMe, we're gonna put that up again this Saturday. And
all right, awesome, thank you.
Keep putting it up, because by now most of the people have seen you, and those who can't make a contribution today, Saturday you can make a contribution. It will be up again this Saturday.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rattigan.
Take care of yourself.
All right, bless up here. One love.
All right, cool. Yeah, people, that was Marcus Bird, remarkable young man. And we know that the power of the Most High, he's going to be fine. And please keep him in your prayers. Keep him in your prayers. Speaking of keeping people in the prayers, Pastor Alves, OT, yep, Pastor Alves, GoFundMe site, his family GoFundMe site. I don't know if you have it. If you don't have it, we'll have to put it up Saturday. By the way, people, let me just put this up here. Ed Robinson is back. Back, people. He premiered when? Today, Wednesday? Yeah, today. 3 to 5. He's back on the radio, Reggae Global Radio, and he has a program. It's called Reggae Lane, the road to great reggae music. Fireball, big up yourself, people. We got this afternoon, so I guess most of you probably didn't even know about it. I guess some of you were aware of it, the ones who follow Reggae Global Radio. But next Wednesday, 3 to 5, and that's 2 to 4 Jamaica time, 3 to 5 New York time. Check out Ed Fireball Robinson on Reggae Global Radio on his new show, Reggae Lane, the road to great reggae music. Every Wednesday, starting today. Missed today? Well, catch him next week, Wednesday. All right? Big up yourself, Fireball. Let me see now. Oh, Oti, you don't have the thing for Pastor Alves. Let me just quickly say that Pastor Alves was contacted by the High Commissioner and her team from South Africa, or in South Africa, yesterday. There it is. Without the F. Yeah, no. But spoke to him. He's in good spirits. But you know, there's only so much a man, a woman, a person can take. But right now he's fine. Big up to Jamaican government. They reached out to him and have made arrangement to make sure that his stay is going to be comfortable. So I want to thank them for that. And there is Pastor, there it is. There is his GoFundMe. People need to jump on and help out our folks, you know. There are some organizations that should be helping more, but we're not even going to talk about that tonight. We're just going to say whatever you can contribute to help out Marcus Bird and Pastor Alves. Both of them are in dire need. They're having health issues. Pastor Alves is having additional issues, top of his health issues. So, whatever you can, please make a contribution. And those of you who know his family, his wife, reach out to them as well. They need the comfort, they need the strength. We all do. But they in particular at this moment. So, asking you kindly, go over there and help. Marcus Bird and Pastor Alves. All right. OT, well, we have we have 19 minutes left. What am I for playing now, OT? There's a problem with water in Jamaica. And let me just put up this video.
To the We On podcast, where we explore fascinating stories and ideas from various fields. In this episode, we explore how a breakthrough technology from China could turn seawater into affordable drinking water without using electricity, offering a promising new solution to the global water crisis. It's an innovation that could reshape how the world thinks about clean water. Scientists in China have developed a new solar-powered desalination technology that can turn seawater into fresh water without electricity. Desalination has always been an energy-hungry process that turns salt water into fresh water, making it largely the preserve of rich nations with abundant fossil fuel reserves. Desalination usually requires a huge amount of energy and is often expensive. However, researchers have created a new material that uses sunlight more efficiently, making the process much cheaper. The researchers have designed a specialized method to weave nanoparticles into a three-dimensional photothermal evaporation material that absorbs solar energy to drive desalination. The tests showed that the material achieved a solar absorption rate of up to 90.2%, while cutting the energy required to evaporate the same volume of seawater by 45.7%. The system successfully converted seawater into fresh water using only natural sunlight, without depending on any external power sources. The process was conducted at a small trial site, in which the fresh water produced was enough to irrigate 5 square meters of farmland for a full growth cycle. After 2 years, the team believed that using this technology, the cost of producing water would reduce below that of bottled water, offering a low-cost and sustainable solution to water shortages, especially in regions with limited access to electricity. Thanks for tuning in to this incredible story. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.
All right. So, folks, there is another alternative. You know, the Bahamian government, they have a portable solution. And we know this because about, in 2024, when we had that storm, they came to our rescue. And I don't know why Jamaica hasn't been able to come up with something like this. But the Bahamian government put us to shame. They brought in a portable desalination plant, and they were able to provide water to our people. And then here's another one. So I'm just saying to the government, you know, maybe you should check this one out as well, because this is going to cut back on the energy costs, because as they said, it takes a lot of energy to convert salt water into drinking water. So maybe this is something that you can actually check out. All right, what else we have at OT? Which one is
Not
this?
to venture too in changing times, uncertain times, uncharted waters in many instances. And my job as the steward of your affairs and the servant of your wishes is to keep Jamaica safe. Not to steer into waters for which we don't have to go. Not to invite problems on ourselves when we have our own problems to deal with. This is not us recoiling from our principles and duties. Jamaica has always been consistent, and we have always been the strong voice of reason for small developing countries globally, and continue to be. Many of the issues that are presently being discussed, if persons who comment on these issues would only do a very cursory research into the matter, they would see the positions that Jamaica has taken and continue to take. So what is happening, you know, Jamaica has already taken its position long before others would have sought to enunciate any current positions. So we give God thanks for keeping Jamaica safe in turbulent geopolitical and geoeconomic times. We have navigated those waters very carefully, very skillfully, and we will bring the ship of the Jamaican state to the destination of prosperity for which God has ordained.
I think we did reach the destination in a long time, from 2016. I think we did reach it already. Now I know so we didn't reach it. And talking about steering ship and leaving people's problems aside and not getting involved. You are involved, whether you like it or not. You are involved. And this TCN program is going to be the millstone, or one of the millstones around your neck, because you have not fully explained it to the Jamaican people. You have not been honest. This story is now gone past the 9-day wonder, and it still has legs. Why? Because it is so obvious that your explanation doesn't make sense. And people are concerned. It's one thing, it's one thing about being concerned about life in Jamaica when you don't have people who are not Jamaicans on the island expected to live a lifestyle that a lot of the Jamaicans who are suffering right now will not be able to live. You're going to be taking in people, and they're not going to be detained, and they're going to be cared for. And that's more than we can say about a lot of Jamaicans, particularly those living in the parishes affected by Melissa. Those who are still without food, those who are still without a roof. Mr. Prime Minister, you have a lot to answer for. What else we have, OT? We don't have much time left. What else we have?
The ground. The criticism was that we are going to thief the money. You remember that? They spread that all around, including in international circles. So a man think it. The people who were making those criticisms, they were in power once, and that is what they did. So they think, well, what happened now? The Auditor General come out and say, well, the money is there, but they didn't spend it fast enough. You see the context now? The money was stolen. The money is there. And for those who are going to apply common sense to it, yes, it's common sense, but think deeply. In the immediate aftermath of the hurricane, tons of immediate humanitarian relief came in. Food items, generators, tarpaulins, all kind of things came in. What was the real problem? The problem wasn't the things. What was the problem? The problem was the logistics and the process to identify people to make sure that is the needy that get it and not the greedy. So you have what?
How is that difficult, Mr. Prime Minister? You have two eyes. How is that difficult for you to identify the needy? How? And you're spinning out of control. All you're trying to spin the narrative, you're spinning out of control. Now it's like, now you're saying, oh, the Auditor General said we never spend the money fast enough. Well, is she wrong? That's the question. If you had a certain amount of money to be spent on suffering people, and you held back, or that money wasn't spent then, and people are suffering, shame on you. And I'm kind of surprised that you would come out with that kind of logic and with that kind of explanation, because that would only make sense to idiots. But what you just explained, that you didn't steal the money, you just didn't spend it fast enough, and people are suffering. And that is supposed to be a solid justification that you didn't steal the money. Forget about what people are saying. You were supposed to, as a steward, you just mentioned it, of our resources, you're supposed to take care of those people. The people who are in dire straits, in great need, and you didn't. You didn't. And that is what you must explain. Why didn't you spend the money on the people? Why?
What you need, and then you go and take the $1.4 billion that is given and go and buy more things. You think you would get it any faster going through that process? You think the trucks that we would have to put it on would get there ahead of the trucks that we took from the wharf with?
You know what that's called, Mr. Prime Minister? It's called proper planning. You had ODPEM. The hurricane did not wreak havoc in Jamaica like a tornado, meaning suddenly. You had well over a week. We were watching this hurricane forming, gaining strength and size and power. We had plenty of time to watch all of this. We saw it. Where was ODPEM? Where did you have facilities where you stored necessities across the island? And while we're talking about that, did you build any shelters, or do you have any shelters that's hurricane proof? Not talking about schools now and community centers. You didn't. And you turn around and now you're trying to justify what you did. And it's an unjustifiable position. And I just hope Jamaica, the people see you. Well, by now they know who you are. They know who you are. You are an uncaring wretch. That's what you are. You really don't care for people. How could you say we had the money, but we just didn't spend it? We didn't steal it, but we just didn't spend it. And that is supposed to suffice? That is supposed to suffice? And the worst part is you have some people who believe you. That's the worst part.
The goods to carry here. Think. And therefore, we're not going to clog up the system. We made strategic decisions that the funds will be used not in the relief phase, where in the relief phase you already have items that you don't want to keep them in warehouses, they're going to spoil.
And how come so many goods rotted on the wharf? That's what I'm being told. And in warehouses. How come? How come? Hurricane season has begun. Knock on wood, Jamaica will be spared. And I say that because Jamaica cannot withstand another hurricane. No. We've seen the massive failure on this government's watch. And I'm telling you, another hurricane, God forbid it should happen, it won't be any different. It'll still be the same. Because you have people who don't care, and you have people who don't know what they're doing, and you have people with ulterior motives. They see a hurricane as an opportunity to enrich themselves. Yes, indeed, there are those. And we haven't even heard anything about the contracts, these emergency contracts, because we know what's happening. But I want to big up Advocates Network for the work that they're doing, bringing light to the issue. and encouraging Jamaicans to come out in their numbers and stand up for what is right. In the fullness of time, Mr. Prime Minister, you are going to face the wrath of the Almighty. You cannot be Prime Minister forever.
You get them out fast.
Almighty, the Almighty, the Almighty, we are called upon him. The plan is in place. The Almighty has his plan in place, and I'm telling you, you will not escape. Poor, these tears shed by poor people will not be wasted. Every single tear shed by poor people will become a curse upon you, Mr. Prime Minister, for what you have done, what you're doing, and what you plan for the Jamaican people. People, tune in Saturday. We have a full program Saturday. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things that we have planned. And there's one initiative I'm going to tell you about on Saturday. It's going to take me some time, but I'm going to do it. And when I'm finished with it, there will be no confusion about where we stand on certain things in Jamaica. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank Marcus Bird for being with us. Wish him all the best. I want to thank the lovely, talented Etana. Big up yourself, and we wish her all the best with her program that is premiering this Friday from 8 to 10 New York time on Reggae Global Radio. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a date, and don't be late for some inspiring and uplifting reggae music along with her thoughts. See you on Saturday. OT.
On him. Them know say that the people rely upon him. You know said them bring out them Christ through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Rock the order of the Trinity.
Advocates Network, July 30th. Where? Nagahead, Portmore, from 6 to 9:30 p.m. We're white. Gonna be bright. Big up on yourself. Come in, OT.
Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights. I saw you stay. How long the mother knows that them fire can.
10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food for we plate. People are suffer while Andrew live great. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through, I left the people here. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Their JLP friends, them build high-rise, road still full of hope. A whose pocket you a fill, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Wholeness, time to go. Time to go. The people we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more. You know you're us. We are not on the door. Wholeness, time to go. Time to go. From Kingston to Negril, the people say so. show. All this a time we go. Farmer can't afford to plant food, price reach the sky. You bring in the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top out extending man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report land and nobody charge. The people pocket small but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council bro? Country suffocate and it just more. And when we raise the voice up all we political. But the truth is the truth and the truth is biblical. Time for the people. We stand up 10 years and we can't take no more. You know hear us. We are not by the door. Time for go from Kingston to Negril. People say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. All this our time for go. We no want no hype, we no want no speech. We want action, no not the lies you preach. Hurricane victims still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people covered empty. Oh, you live so large when we living so scanty. Not with fists, not with fire, but we voice them rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate, Jamaica speaking and I'm not too late. Hey! Time for the people. We said no 10 years and we can't take no more. You know hear us. We are not by the door. Time for go from Kingston to Negril. People say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Oh, yes, our time to go. This one is for every Jamaican. We can't afford feet. We are sleep on cardboard. We are drive on broken road. The people don't forget. The people don't forgive. Enough is enough. Jamaicans will live.